feel sad that we need another phone. We can't Snapchat while we're on live.
That's why I have my content team with me normally with all their phones. We just get snap happy up in there.
Snap, 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 snap. Snap, snap.
Come on here.
Snap, snap.
Yeah, but the song is on this line.
Alright. My laptop's talking with me. What's up, Facebook? You are going to see some epic shit go down.
This looks awesome. Oh, you're talking to person. Sorry.
I'll talk to you.
Look how good
Happy
this
to
looks.
talk to you.
This looks really good.
I'm just letting you know, we need to seriously get our own fucking show with a studio.
Yes, we do.
Just letting you know.
Yes, we do.
Just letting you guys know. So if you're on my live stream, can you hear me okay? Because my tripod's quite far back from the table, so that we
I
can
think
get
the sound will be fine. I think it'll be.
We're going live here as well.
We're live.
Do it. We were live already. It's getting prepped.
We're live.
Getting prepped. Yeah, we look amazing in a studio.
Yeah, we're great. We're live.
Yeah, it looks good.
We is live.
Thank you, live.
Okay, from now on, I'm only working in this kind of setup. I'm just letting
Like it?
everybody know.
That's what you
Yeah. This is my minimum new normal standard. From now
Slide
on.
in there, Kat.
Alright, let me get up. Oh, you. Oops, take a
No,
mic.
sis.
What did I just do?
You broke it. You
Paul,
broke
can you hear us
everything.
okay?
No.
Cool.
It looks good on this live stream.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Hello, hello.
What's
Give
up?
us a second.
What's up?
Say hey. Let us know you're there. We are here with Billie Jean is marketing.
What's up?
He is marketing.
That's a fact by definition.
It's actually on Wikipedia, so
It is.
can't argue with that shit.
No.
Can you guys see can you see this cart that we've got here?
Mine can't
It's
see
like
a cart.
10:30 a.m. We've got the Chambord, we've got the Campari, we've got some badass beer, ginger ale shit going on.
We got
We got wine.
fancy cups. I think that's
Yeah,
the biggest
fancy
thing is the
cups.
cups are fancy, therefore it will
I
taste
shall
better.
only drink
as
from
a
my
result.
copper
That's right.
thing from now on.
Alright.
Okay, guys, I'm pulling up.
And I'm thinking
My
I saw
thing
some
here.
tequila. Did I see some tequila?
You 1000%
Oh my
did.
god. I said to Regan
I
last night, we need
I
tequila.
was gonna say, it may be a long day.
It's gonna be an interesting day. Let's put it that day.
So funny.
Ready for some badassery.
Paul, let's do some audio check in like 2 seconds here. Everybody should be okay. We're good? Alright. Who? Jay? Okay, cool. I got it on mine now. Perfect.
Nice tripod.
These guys come in and they have like the coolest fucking tripods you've ever seen in your life. I'm like,
we own the
God
tripod.
damn it.
It's like, you know what?
What
we
is
should
going
actually
on?
make a company that produces these tripods.
I'm serious. Like we should show Paul. Can you go free roam on that? Or is it too much work right now?
Every
Like,
badass
let's
studio
show
we go
them.
into, we just walk in with our $30 tripod and everybody's like, whoa!
Where did you get that from? Oh my god!
But like it is perfect. Matt says he loves your hair.
Thank you so much.
Triple A Billy, I think they're using Max. It's time to come to the dark side. Fuck that shit. PCs only for life. You know this. Chris says, BG, what's up, man? From New Jersey. What's going on? I hate the East Coast. So what else we got? Alice says, hello. Ashley says, well, shit, I need to have a beer. Yes, if you're watching and we're drinking, then you should definitely be drinking
It would
to
be
it.
pretty rude.
Socially
if you
Yeah,
unacceptable.
and we can
not
see
to.
right now, so we know
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Exactly.
I would find that a little offensive, just to be honest with you.
Okay, so Paul, as you're going around, like show like the cameras the nessnesses. All right, so come on this side right here, and then we'll go through like these are the sick ass tripods that everyone should get, like Amazon, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But literally, you guys should all
we'll
give
send
them
you
like
our
this kind of
affiliate link.
cool.
It's actually how we build our empires.
Tripod slang it on the low.
This whole Modi 17, it's just a tripod.
And then Paul is using 3 cameras right now, so Paul, if you want to swing back around. And so I don't even know what they're called or any of that stuff. Paul probably does, but like we'll be switching angles in between then. And we also have some GoPros set up downstairs. So Brandon, if you're manning the 1s and 2s right now, if you guys can kind of show them the other
So
cameras,
cool. It looks
that'd be fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah, and then we got like the lights and
Very cool.
It is
Boom!
badass up
Boom!
here, guys.
Boom!
that's
The
right.
setup is amazing. I've seen the setup on photo and video, but to be here,
And Bryce
Yeah,
will change
badass
things.
Very cool.
setup.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we need to do. I think everyone needs to have a drink in their hand. I think we need to pour up
Oh, let's do it.
before we can technically get it. So
I'm feeling like it's tequila for breakfast.
yeah, I think so too.
I'm all about the healthy drinks. And so tequila comes with lime, which is green, which is vegetable, which is healthy.
I want to let you guys know something. You'll be the first people to actually use these cups.
Really?
Because Taylor
No
bought them
way.
yesterday specifically for
Wow.
today. So that's our little gift. That's our thing. That is it.
That is so cool.
Mhm, mhm.
Look how cool it is.
And then I think there's ice in this one. I might be making that up though. Let's see.
Just like, I don't understand how anybody can even
So
consider
cool.
doing live filming without a tequila bar in the middle of the table.
This is the real deal. And like these are even fancy tweezers. This is actually hard.
Tweezers.
This is hard to get ice
Are
out.
they
So.
tweezers?
Like this
Because I have Chanel tweezers.
Do you know? You be fucking me with. So, Kat, do you want to tell everybody how we met as I put these weird ice cubes in your side of your cup?
Sure. So we met at a private mastermind with Frank Kern, which was 6 of us in his house.
Mhm.
Days of absolute. Thanks to Regan last night, we were almost by the end of it becoming the 2 giggly naughty people in the back.
Yeah.
And sure. But we really hit it off because of the whole content as entertainment side of things. And once we both figured out that we were into that, we were just like, because not many people are doing that. People don't get how freaking important entertainment is. And then the other thing I remember about you is that you were definitely drinking at lunch when Frank was like, no drinking at lunch.
Wait, did he say that? I was that guy
I'm
for
down
sure.
with tequila with whatever.
Yeah, that was me.
So funny.
100%. I was that guy.
We had so much fun. So, we invested in this high-level mastermind opportunity, and when you do that, you get to meet 2,000 people, and then you find yourself in the studio with a tequila tray on the table.
It's true. But lights of ice cubes that are really hard to grab because this little tweezer thing is so
I
stupid.
feel like you need to
Like look how this is so dumb.
The tweezers aren't good.
You
If you guys want to like Chromecast a video or show any videos, we can put it on the screen right
Oh, do we have the bottom available? Okay, sick.
You're doing pretty well there.
We
You're
will.
getting there with the
You're
choices.
doing very good.
It's the perseverance. Okay.
Persevere. All right, what's up, everybody?
All right, we'll get to questions and all that shit in a second. So one thing that you guys both haven't done is done a live stream with me. And Kat, I know you know a little bit, but like I asked some real ass questions. And so like right now, if I was like, hey audience, you guys should come out here. You should check us out. You know I'm gonna ask some like really uncomfortable things, like the realness about the entrepreneur struggle. So are you both okay with that?
We are both okay. We think you should bring it. Yeah,
Transparency is the name of the game.
it is.
Nothing is out of bounds.
We're gonna put that to the test. All right. So ice cubes are set now. Taylor, Paul, can you grab Taylor down there? So Taylor is like the drink connoisseur. She used to actually be a bartender at one of the most famous restaurants in Paris.
Cool.
Wow.
Made that up.
That's very
But it does sound good. It makes the
I got really excited.
it makes the drinks sound like they're gonna taste a little bit better. So
Yeah.
By the way, if you guys need a charger today, here.
For that?
Oh, you already have. Okay, kind of like that.
On
Okay.
it.
Fair
On
enough.
it.
So what? A spoon would be easier, but regardless of that, like, what should we start off with? So I've done the first step. I've layered the glasses with ice cubes, which is the hard part, clearly.
Okay,
So what should we pour in these cups?
So you are going to pour vodka.
Okay, Tito's, the fancy stuff. All right,
Cool.
Hey, this is gluten free.
let's do
All
it.
right, let's do it.
And what are we mixing it with?
Tito's? Have you guys had Tito's?
No.
No.
It's
the
Texas
it's the last
vodka.
time you'll
It looks
have it.
amazing.
And it's
Yes.
amazing.
No, it's really good.
Tequila.
It really is
It's
the
less.
last time you'll ever
Okay.
have it. Ever.
What are we gonna mix it with?
Jason says just do shots. I mean, we have a lot to go. We're just getting
You're not
started.
serious.
So, I mean, maybe, yeah, like, give us a moment. Yeah, like, well, what's up, everybody? Randy, I see you. Teresa, what's going on? Dante, what's up, man? How are you? Jordan Leanne Peterson, you're downstairs. What's up? Ashley Reyna, hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, you got some people in there. Cool. Say hey. Give us a shout out on the live stream. My comments are not all coming up. I can see all the comments over there. I can't see them all here.
Dude,
So
the
if you're
computer's actually
commenting-
not that great for
Yeah,
it.
I think
appreciate
it is
you being
a delight.
here.
Woo!
Come right over here. I just feel like I'm standing in front of you.
That one's gonna have to move.
That's
over.
right.
So she would start with the champagne to ease in.
Okay, we can mix champagne.
Tomas,
with
what's
vodka.
up? Stephanie Blake, what's going on? You're out here. Sharp's
Okay,
here,
right
that's
this
my
second?
guy
Yeah,
right
no,
there.
just
God
turn-
made alcohol
just
so
turn the
Billy
mic
wouldn't
back
rule
up,
the
you
world.
guys.
Facts
No,
of
no,
life.
that's
It's
Thank you.
100% true. Okay. So we're doing Tito's mixed with ice cubes. And then
Champagne?
this is
Vodka on the rocks.
what's
And
up, Melanie
Campari?
says?
Pink champagne?
Yeah, let's have some Campari in it.
Put a little bit of everything.
And then in addition to that, we also have the mint flowers, which I really believe
that.
it's
I'm gonna
just
be able
like
to squeeze one.
it adds that extra element. It's
You
one
can
of
just
those
move
things.
it.
Well, it's how
Okay.
you turn it into
Yeah.
a green smoothie.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
everybody should have a green smoothie for breakfast.
Because they're healthy.
Should we start talking about
We're all
that?
about
Morning,
health
morning
and fitness.
rituals? Kat, do you want to drop them off? Like, how do you wake up and start
Alright.
your day?
Alright. How do I wake up? This is important. I have to take a moment to ponder. Now, you know what? In all seriousness, my morning is one thing that cannot be fucked with. I am so fucking consistent with my morning ritual. I don't care what is going on around me. Nothing will chop or change this. So my morning ritual is coffee. Alright, obviously. Don't have to state the obvious.
Wait, hold on. We have a free roll. I repeat, Taylor just spilled shit everywhere. It was not on the camera, but it did happen. It did happen.
And she didn't even have any vodka.
Yeah, there was no drinking involved.
You guys are trying to go so slow.
Alright. I don't know about like everybody watching, but the day when you're in business as an entrepreneur, the day is just like, right? Like once the day
Yeah.
begins, you're not thinking.
Especially my
you've got-
day yesterday.
Oh, you're doing
It's out of
badass
control.
today.
It's
You
out of
just got to
control.
keep moving and keep going. So for me in the morning, if you're not
Yes,
starting
miss.
your morning with getting your mindset on and setting your intentions and your focus and already actually deciding in advance how the day will roll out, then you're playing a ridiculous small level game because you're just going to be reacting all day to the day. So for me, the morning is the one time where I'm like, I don't care what shit's going on. I could be like giving birth or in studio with Billie Jean. Don't worry, that's not on the agenda. That was not an announcement. I'm just saying, no matter what is going down, the morning is intentions for the day, focus for the day, decide in advance what's going to happen today, and then I usually get into writing my content. I write my written content for the day.
First of all, you don't just write content. So, like, the one thing that stuck out to me when we met at Frank's is you literally create more content than, listen to this. I don't know, what camera are we on? Camera 1, 2, 3, I don't fucking know. But you literally create more content than I've ever met anyone on this planet. Like, literally a writing machine, a live stream machine you guys should follow because that's what, like, that was the first thing I asked her. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, how do you get it? So, I guess it starts
She's
with
like
mine.
up there with me. Don't worry.
Like, how, teach me something that I gotta do, because I'm like, oh my god. Like, I was talking to my boy Brandon, I'm like, fuck, dude, I gotta write something today, I gotta do a video, like, and it fucks up my whole day. It's challenging.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know that the more that I write and speak and create content, the more money I make, and also the more I get my message out there and I impact people. So one thing that I've been really good at doing in business over the 10 years I've been online is letting the chaos build around me and ignoring every fucking thing that is not me producing content. So my team are like running behind me to try and clean up the mess, or I used to not have a team, and then I was just like, well, I just won't do all that shit. Which means that now they're still cleaning up like 9 or 10 years of mess because there's no systems. But meanwhile, there's a multi-7-figure business because all I've done is produce content.
I think it comes down as well, like obviously our businesses are an extension of us, right?
Yeah.
So when you're tapping into your stuff and journaling about it and thinking about it and doing mindset work around it, like for me anyway, that's always where the content comes from.
Right.
So it's not like, okay, we'll do the morning ritual, we'll journal, we'll think about all this mindset stuff. Okay, now the day starts, now we'll go create content, what should I write about? It's always like, well, I'm obviously going to create content about what I was just thinking about and just, you know, processing and
It's
talking
just
about.
an extension.
So it's a lot of documenting as opposed to creating, which is saving you guys a lot of
That's
time.
happening
It's
into.
just literally like we share every thought that's going through our heads and every idea or belief, but also the random, silly, funny stuff. And I guess I'm just going to say that I don't believe that everybody can do this because if you're going to do this and you're going to just share every thought that's going through your head, you better have some interesting fucking thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
That are going to be helping
Think about some
We
cool
made
shit.
we made
Yeah.
a commitment like not so long ago actually, and we were like, okay, cool. Everything that we catch ourselves talking about or saying or kind of, to be honest, bitching about, going, oh, you know, why is this different online or something like that? We committed to sharing it, right? So we committed to writing about it, speaking about it, actually getting it out there, and that's a big commitment.
Yeah,
Like that takes balls, right? And you're definitely
And it
gonna
takes
piss some
time
people
as well.
off. It takes
Like
time.
even this morning I did like 20 minutes sprint on the treadmill and I think I probably had like 8 different content ideas in that 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's always like, okay, well, am I going to write them down while I'm like sprinting?
Yeah.
Am I going to actually use those or will they just slip away? And I
Yeah.
feel like if you don't act immediately on your ideas and your inspiration and even particularly actually guys, the random silly funny stuff because that's entertainment.
For sure.
If you don't immediately produce and get that out there, then it is
Yeah,
gone. You lose that idea.
Right.
Yeah.
And at some point, your idea muscle will grow weak, and you just won't be in that ability to come up with cool
Right.
stuff. So,
Idea muscle, I like that. So let's go from here. And for those of you that are just tuning in with us, Today, all we're doing is sitting here talking shit and answering questions.
Yeah.
But I think before we kind of jump into that, it's important that everyone kind of goes over their background. So if you could kind of take a moment and just introduce yourself and tell like my audience who the hell you are and what you do.
Who am I?
How'd you make your money? More importantly, a lot of people are like, how the fuck do you make money? Right? Like, that's always the golden question. So.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm a content creator and I'm Regan Hillyer. Obviously, you can see the sign behind me.
Oh.
I have a label in case you forget.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm a writer, I'm a speaker, I'm an entrepreneur. I have multiple different businesses, but probably what we're going to talk about most, ultimately tapping into my message, sharing that with the world, helping people unleash their message and build, 7 and multi-7-figure empires from that. So that's the core of it.
Okay, I like that. But how did you get started? Let's we got time.
You want to go
So
back?
let's go back. Like
You want the full
did you come from money? Like were you just balling always and then just said I'm gonna stay rich because rich is cool? Like what happened? Yeah, you know what I mean. Rich is good. Yeah.
No, I always joke with people and say like I wasn't born living in Bali with my laptop just making money by the side of the pool.
Right,
Like
right.
It didn't happen that way. So no, I mean I grew up in New Zealand, an amazing family that sent me to a great school, but it was very much follow the system model,
Yeah.
right? Like go to school, work hard, go to university, get good grades, and I've actually got a degree in architecture of all things. So so I was only halfway through that first year, and I just knew like deep down within me, I was like, man, like there's got to be more to life. Like I actually had a lecturer, and he was like, guys, I want you to picture your life 5, 10, 20 years out from now as that future architect. But I was like,
on path.
I was like, shit.
Is that when you realized, like,
Yeah. I literally got this feeling, and I was like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life? Just because I can do it, just because I'm good at it, just because everyone's told me I should be doing this, it's not actually what I'm called to do. And that was like the first wake up around alignment, right?
Well, when did you recognize the fact that you didn't really like architecture that much? Like you're doing this exercise. What was it about that life that kind of scared you away?
I think it was just picturing not living on my terms, to be completely honest. It was also realizing that, I've always known that I'm here to create a massive impact, and I haven't necessarily known how that's going to look, or the details, or the how.
So you wanted something more, and you're like, I'm not going to get there by following this path.
Exactly. And I pictured myself like sitting in a room, like really old, like detailing a window, working for someone else. And I was like, oh my god, I need to get out of here right now. Like shit. And I remember I ran out of there, and I just made a decision. I was like, this isn't what I want to do. And I rang my dad, and it was like a massive thing. I was like, holy shit.
Is that like a New Zealand thing? I rang my dad, because everyone's like, you mean you called him? What?
Yeah, that's right. I called my dad. And to my surprise, he was like, okay, I get it. You don't want to do it. I support you as long as you're happy. And I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, so what are you going to do? And I was like, don't know. I have no idea. And that's what spurred me into personal development.
Okay, hold on. Now, that's a big thing, because I think there's a lot of people here that are probably watching right now that are exactly at that point of, I know I don't like my job, my career, my team, whatever I'm doing, but at the same time, I don't know what the fuck else to do. So, like, was there, like, and also, too, like, obviously we're all 3 big into personal development, right? But at the same time, that's not, like, a natural thing, right? Like, people come to personal development, maybe you're introduced to a book, a story, a person. Was there, like, a particular experience that said, okay, I'm into this personal development?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I started Googling. I was Googling. I was like, how do you make money online? I was trying to quit my job before I had one, basically.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and so I was Googling all that, and sure, it was a free ebook. It was honestly a free ebook. I started reading it. It was all about money and mindset and the banking system and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my god, there's so much I don't know. And sure enough, with the ebook, it was like, come to our event, our 4-day event. And
I went. Started at the low level, started up selling. I like that.
I went through the freaking funnel. I popped out the other end and very quickly got into that environment and just realized that I was one of those people, and I had to make friends with those people. I had to get into their environment. I didn't want to sit in the audience, basically. I was like, I need to get to know them.
So I used to get that, like, I always tell people, like, one of my favorite things to be is jealous.
Right.
I love the feeling of when you see someone, like when we were sitting at Frank's and she's like, I write this much, I was so mad, because I was so jealous, like, damn, she's so on top. I love that fucking feeling. And so I think for everyone watching, like, embrace fucking jealousy. It's fun. Like, everyone who's, like, out there and they're fucking killing shit, I love to congratulate them and talk, like, shit in a very fun, positive way.
Right.
Like, you know what, dude, I'm gonna catch up to you. I'm gonna get that. So.
And for me, honestly, it's feeling super grateful for everything I've created, but at the same time being totally unsatisfied.
Okay, so here's
satisfied with satisfaction.
Right, exactly.
So here's the question. So you go to this event, you go into a funnel, and you're open up into this entirely new world.
Right.
So how do you take that now burning passion and turn into like an actual dollar in your pocket? Like, how did you start making money?
Yeah, look, absolutely. So I literally started, I was a seminar junkie. I just did everything I could get my hands on. I borrowed money. I was just like all in. Like,
let's go into that too. I mean, these are important things because like a lot of people fucking let this shit slip. Like, she borrowed money to learn.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's crazy. Now, even though like when everyone goes to like a traditional university, it's so normal to learn. But now when we're adults, when we make decisions, people are like, oh my god, I'm gonna borrow to learn something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so like even that, like, what gave you the like, what was happening? Paint the picture there.
I just knew that if I didn't change something, nothing was going to change. And quite honestly, the reality of staying at university and then going into some sort of job, like, that was so painful to me that I was like, I've just got to figure this out, you know? And like I said, I didn't have all the answers. I wasn't like, oh, you know, I'm going to build a business online. I didn't have all that then, but I knew I had to do something. So I just started trying everything, to be honest. Like, I learned how to trade currency. I started learning online business stuff. I was learning how to invest in property, even when I had no money to invest in property. Like, I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna do everything. Yeah, I just went nuts on it.
So you're acquiring skills, and that's something that we preach all the time. Like, if you really want to make money, you have to be able to do something that somebody else can't do.
Right.
And so you're investing to yourself, which I think is fantastic.
For sure.
So what's that moment? Take us to that moment when you first made that first, like, dollar, whatever it is. Like, what was that? Because I think we all remember it.
It's really funny. Like, people often ask me, you know, what's the proudest moment in your business? Like, that one time where it's, like, the biggest win. And for me, it was actually, like, receiving the first payment from my first client. It was the biggest thing, right? And it was ridiculous. I mean, I think I charged, like, $300 for, like, 3 months or 6 months of me.
It didn't matter, right? It could have been $7 for 7 years. Like,
and it was ridiculous when you look at it. But it was that one thing, honestly. And I remember I was talking to someone and they reached out and they were actually saying, hey, look, I'm noticing you're changing your life. I'm noticing you're now really positive and all this stuff's going on. Like, what are you doing? And I literally just said to her, I was like, cool, here's what I've done. I can help you do this too, right? And I literally just started teaching her everything that I was learning from these courses, right? And that was like literally my proudest thing was like that first $300 because then something triggered and I was like, okay, if someone can pay me $300, someone can pay me $3 grand, someone can pay me that. Oh my god, more people, and like I just got it, you know.
So what was the experience like that, coaching for the first time? Like here you have this person. Oh, Mayday! Camera down. We just had a phone down. All the hype we just talked about, the tripod, it all just went downhill.
What did you do, Kat?
I guess we're gonna have to drink while we wait there.
How did that even happen?
All right. Let's get it set up here and cheers, and we'll continue this in a second.
Yeah, such beautiful cups.
Oh, V had a really good question. Cheers.
Cheers.
Kat, we'll wait for you. We'll drink in the meanwhile.
Somebody's commented on my live stream and said, can they help me reach 20?
The leaves actually went in my mouth. These were so fancy I couldn't even drink it out of you.
Wow.
Alright, now I
It's
also
actually pretty good.
managed to throw my microphone while I did that.
Cheers, Kat.
Cheers.
Oh, here when we go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of. There you go.
Perfect.
Done. Paul, can you mic
Cheers,
check
guys.
on Kat?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I love these cups.
To the
so
first-
beautiful.
I feel
To
like
the
I'm
first
drinking
payment.
This is so pretty.
some kind of like quaint.
Melanie says she just got her first $500 deposit on a Friday and she was absolutely giddy all weekend. Shout out to Melanie. She actually came here to visit too. She
That
checked
is
out as
so
well.
cool.
You know that the actual little fluffy thing is not there.
The ball, you're totally fine.
You don't need that?
I mean, it helps a little, but we're not.
Where is it?
Can you get a backup puff ball, Paul?
A
On the
puff
mic? The little puff ball.
A puff ball, we need a puff ball.
It literally disappeared.
It's gone MIA.
Pat, what are you
Backup
doing
puff
with
ball
the
on the
puff
way from
ball?
Paul.
Hashtag live stream problems.
Mm-hmm. Mike says, drinking will reduce the chances of dropping more shit.
How is
I
it?
agree.
All down.
Puff ball down. Paul, look how quick Paul is. Literally, it just happened and Paul's already up here. I love it.
We had a puff forward
A puff ball.
Thank you.
Rob says, what's up, Bill? I like what you guys do. Rob, I like what you do. Don't even know what it is, but I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, I know, it's awesome.
Adam, what's up, man? How are
We're
you?
definitely going to get more professional now that the drinks have come on board.
So you can say
That's
now
right.
you're puff ball.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Okay, so going on. So here it is. First person pays you $300. And
Yeah.
let's give everyone kind of like a fast forward. What would you charge now for that 3 months that you know?
Minimum 30K with me.
Did
so-
you wait? Hold on. Did you guys hear the progression? That's all I heard. Is just that
Yeah.
big P word.
So
the
cool.
progression.
So cool.
$300. Then she said, "Fuck it. I'm gonna add another zero." And she said, "You know what?
Yeah.
Fuck that too. I'm gonna add another zero." And I wouldn't be surprised. Give us a couple years, come back, and she's like,
100%.
"Fuck it.
Right.
I add another zero."
Right.
It's
Okay.
totally zero.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think a lot of people wonder this because I wondered it a lot too before I really understood coaching and consulting. some of you are wondering right now, what the fuck do you get for 30K? Would you like to answer that question for everybody? Because everyone's doing the same thing. If I give you 30 grand, what the fuck am I going to get? That's what they're thinking.
It's
such a bargain.
That's the real, but we know that. But like a lot of people are like, I don't understand.
Right, absolutely. Well, the way I work with people is that there's kind of two sides of things, right? There's the mindset side of things, and then there's strategy side of things, right? Now, the majority of people that come and work with me, they don't need much more strategy, to be completely honest. They kind of get it. They know how to build a business online. They know what to do, but they realize that the only reason that they're not exactly where they desire is their own shit in their head, basically, right? So I help them really break that down and really elevate them constantly to a new level. And so, you know, the kind of people I work with are the people that come to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm really proud. I had my first like 20 grand month," and I'm like, "Only 20K? Like, well, we got to change that."
Immediately
right?
call them out, like, hold on.
Right, immediately.
Well, that's your problem.
Right, exactly, right. And so their mindset just ends up being elevated and pushed and pushed and pushed, hence the results shift and shift and shift. And obviously there's the odd strategic thing where it's like, should I do this or launch this or whatever, and we talk that through. But you know what, most of my private clients that are paying the 30K and beyond, you know, it's like a 15-minute phone call once a week. It's like, boom, in and out, got it, cool, done, and they go implement, you know.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
15-minute phone call once a week, 3-month commitment, 30 G's in the bank.
Right.
Beast mode. No flinch. It wasn't even like, it's like, yeah, motherfucker. Continue.
It's like,
that's what's going
that
on.
is a deal. Like,
Yeah. So let's talk about the progression a little bit. So
Yeah.
you went from that first person who was like, "Here, I'll give you $300 and let's see what it is."
And I was like, oh my god.
So where did the confidence come from to charge X, now 30K? Like what the fuck happened between 300 and 30K?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it definitely hasn't been over a week that has shifted.
Yeah.
So obviously it's been years and
That's
years.
important to stress because a lot of people think it is. They feel like I could just get one client with 30K for the year. I'm good.
Exactly.
No, it's gotta feel normal.
Yeah, and look, it's got to feel good. So basically what's happened in terms of what I charge, you know, even just for private mentoring like this example. So I was like, okay, the 300, and I was literally like, oh my god, she paid the 300, like that is crazy, holy shit, pinched myself. And then I did it again, then I did it again. And then it got to a point where I felt like I was charging the 300 and it felt like, oh, that's feeling like a lot of work for that amount of money. So for me, that was a signal to go, okay, cool, I need to increase my rates.
And then what about the results that your clients were getting at that time when they were working with you? How did their lives change?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, it's a little bit different to how I work with people now, and obviously I'm very different, 7-8 years ago. But they were getting amazing results. I was really helping them with any area of their lives. I'd be like, what do you want to change? And they'd be like, my health. And I'd be like, cool, let's work on your health for this time. So it was more like mindset-based kind of generally across the board.
So you're a problem solver. You get paid to solve problems. Someone comes up with a challenge or something that they're struggling with, and fuck it, here you go.
Exactly. So, and it's really that feeling of going, okay, cool, like, you know what, I know it's time to increase my rates. And then what people do is they get that feeling and they either increase it and then basically put the new rate out there and people either pay it or they shoot a little bit high, like they get a little bit overconfident, and then they notice that people aren't investing because they're not fully aligned with actually charging that price point. So if I'd gone from like $300 to say 10K, right, I wouldn't have actually been aligned for that as being an authentic price point.
Right.
Hence, I don't think anyone would have paid that.
In other words, you weren't bringing that value.
Right, exactly. And I couldn't authentically own that price point. So I think it is finding that balance and just jumping in and testing it and knowing that when you get that feeling of going, oh, you know, doesn't really feel worth my time for that, then that's when you need to shift it up.
So a lot of people wonder this too. How the hell do you find a client who's paying 30K?
Yeah, well, that's when building a brand comes into it. That's when messaging daily and showing up as you content.
The all day. I mean, all we do is
daily
content
messaging
all day, every day.
Yeah,
and it's basically just a mindset of, I'm going to decide to be in fucking charge here, and people are going to follow me and listen to me because I know it's not. I mean, it is ego, I guess, but it's not pure ego. It's not just like, oh, I want everybody to listen to me and then buy from me, and I'm going to be a leader and I'm going to be in charge. It's, I know that that's what I'm here to do, and I believe so fully and so firmly in my
Can I tell you something? So when we met at Frank Kern's event, you got to keep in mind there was what, 6 of us there.
6 of us.
There's 6 of us there. I believe you're the only woman. What was that?
It was one of them. Sure.
Oh yeah, she was awesome too. Okay.
Yeah.
Not to be little, Misty.
Yeah.
Missy's got- Shout out to Misty if you're watching right now. Hey. But I'll tell you what, like, so here's all these like business owners and everyone's like really confident and everyone's like doing their thing and like, I mean, one guy there, Bill, is fucking cool as shit. He owns a soccer team. To give you an idea of like the motherfucker's there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, there was something that even made me, and you guys have been following me for a while, you know, I don't give a shit. I'm confident as hell. I'll do my thing.
Yeah.
When Kat came to the table though, the first thing I thought is like, oh my God, she is way hungrier than any of us there.
Interesting.
And you were not afraid to say exactly what the fuck you wanted and where you wanted to be. And again, it's still a room full of people who are doing their thing, but like it just stood out to me. I'm like, holy shit, this like I could literally feel like this motherfucker's on beast mode. Like I left there and I was like, God damn it, if I don't work right now, Kat's gonna like she's gonna like, you know what I mean? Like what the fuck is Kat? Like Kat is like shit, she may show up at the office and like I don't even know, change the name to Kat's marketing. Fuck, like what's gonna happen? But like it was so real. Yeah, like boom, it was done. It was so fucking real. So I just want to commend you for that. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me because it was a badass room of people.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I was just blown away by you, and like then I was like caught up in all your content, and I'm like going through all your videos and everything. And so I just think like attracts like as well, right? Like we got along because we see the same thing in each other, like that hunger and that drive, and that's why we're friends as well, right? But for me, it's totally like, I was blogging about this morning actually when I wrote my daily blog, which is the daily Ask Hickory that I write every day. And I was writing about, like, for me, there is zero doubt that I will get to wherever I want to go. Like, it's not even within the realms.
Even before you had it, like you just knew. You didn't have
nothing to do with it. It's a done deal. So therefore, no matter what happens, like if something goes wrong or something doesn't work out, it might hurt or it might be upsetting and you might flinch a little, and then you're like, all right, well, cool, it doesn't matter because I know that I'm getting here. This is not going to impact my story, and so therefore I'll just power on.
It's a speed bump.
It's always a speed bump, no matter how big of a speed bump it is, because I look ahead and I'm like, it's completely written into stone already that I'll get exactly where I want to go.
So here's some questions. So we kind of got your stomping grounds and where it all kind of started for the foundation.
One of my 30K clients is on the line. She goes, worth it 1,000%.
There you go. Right now, like there it is. It's the realest shit ever. Like you can't make that shit up, right? So like, okay, I have so many questions. I want to make this great. So Kat, let's talk about your story. So did you wake up Kat's brand is rich bitch? Like that's the thing. Did you wake up? I feel uncomfortable saying. Did you wake up a rich bitch? Like, can I say that? I'm not allowed to say that. I don't want to say that. Like, I don't. This like, what happened? Like, were you just born this way? Were you just motivated this way? Were you like, what's your deal? Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean?
No, you know what? Actually, like a lot of people really are shocked when they hear my story because I was that kid in school who was. Like, firstly, I was always top of every class academically. Like, it was a given in my family that I will be top of every single class academically.
Well, that's huge. I don't want to skip over that, right? Let's talk about that. So, like, a valedictorian type of, like, you know, like, top of class. First of all, for those of you who follow, like, that was not me, right? So this is fascinating to me to, like, understand this. So here's someone who's already, like, a high-level achiever. I kind of want to get into your parents a little bit, like, from the jump, did they just have the expectation of if you don't get, you know, top, then you're fucking up, or like what? Because like I feel like with the way our daughter is gonna like my girlfriend and I, like our daughter's gonna grow up.
Yeah.
She's going to. I have the highest expectations because what she's given, right? Yeah. So like I'm like, what was the conversation with your parents to make you come in and be like, 4th grade, fuck you guys, I'm fucking getting A's, get off me.
Do you know what? Like, I mean, I have an amazing supportive family. I think out of nearly everybody I know, I feel so blessed with my family, my siblings, and my parents. So growing up, I never felt anything but absolute belief in me from my parents and also all my teachers. So I'm very lucky with this because I know a lot of entrepreneurs had the opposite experience. But I was just told over and over again my entire life, you can do whatever you want. Anything you decide to do with your life, you're going to succeed at. And so that was incredible. The flip side of that was I kind of didn't realize through the process of growing up and even into my mid-20s, I had so been told that and believed it that I didn't realize I would have to work for it. I think I just thought it would happen. And then at the same time,
the opposite effect, it was like because it was just supposed to kind of happen.
It was like my destiny. I knew that. And so I think I kind of thought the universe would deliver it on a silver platter. So that's kind of another part of the story, my quarter life crisis in my mid-20s. But growing up, it was a complete expectation. I'm going to say more so from my mum, but both my mum and my dad were top of, like, they were both valedictorians, and my family is super
So the habits they instilled in you at a young age probably still stick with you.
It wasn't even about habits. I mean, sure, like, you'd come home and you'd do your homework and stuff. It was just an expectation that was largely unspoken about, that you will get A++++. If you would get an A, it was like, why didn't you get an A+? But it wasn't harsh. I'm going to say it wasn't harsh. I didn't feel like pushed down by my parents. I felt lifted up and supported. Yeah. It was normal. It was just the expectation.
I can't stress that enough. I think that's why I'm so huge into like wanting to like mentor and get out there, because a lot of people don't have people kind of raising the expectation and the norm, and like their average of the 5 people they hang out with is way down here, so their norm, they're doing exactly, you know what I mean, that. So like, I fucking love that.
It was just normal, and you know what, I'm gonna be honest, like, I didn't, particularly in the later years in schooling, I'm like, intellectually, I do have it going on, and I don't have to try hard for that. There's a lot of other areas in my life where I've had to try hard, and confidence and performing and showing up like this is one of them, because I'm an introvert. I grew up, like, I had friends, but I wasn't like this, right?
Who would have guessed Kat's a fucking introvert?
I'm a massive introvert.
We're both massive introverts. And so I was that kid who in the school, like in the play break at school, I would be, I'm not even kidding, I would go with a book and I would crawl into the bushes and I'd sit there and read a book, because that's what I was happy doing.
Wow.
And I had friends for sure. I wasn't like the kid with no friends, but I was not popular, and I was definitely not cool. I had like hand-me-down corduroy clothes and whole grain sandwiches before that was a thing, and like alfalfa with peanut. Like, I was super uncool, and it bothered me. It really bothered me.
Why?
And
Why did it bother you?
I don't even know, but I honestly spent my whole life wanting to be one of the cool kids and wanting to be accepted.
Everyone wants to be loved and accepted, right?
I wanted to be accepted, I wanted to be acknowledged, I wanted to be seen, and what I recognize now when I look at what I do in my business, I mean, I'm a writer, a speaker, a mentor, all those things, but I'm a performer, and one of my highest values is being seen and heard. And I guess I knew that growing up, and I did, like, I wrote a lot. I guess I'm a writer first and foremost before anything else. So I was always reading and writing, and I was in my own little world, making believe in my head and making up all these ideas, and that's kind of what I still do. And then the entrepreneurial side of it was always there as well. So as much as I was like this introvert who was like super academic and always picked last in sports and all that stuff, I still managed to step up and lead whenever I felt like it. And I would start these little clubs when I was like 8 years old, and I'd charge everybody $5 to join my club.
So she's already slanging shit at fucking 8.
Totally. I got shut down on the schoolyard for selling like my old toys and crap.
Did you?
It was like, Katrina has to stop selling stuff on the schoolyard.
Love it.
And then I'd start clubs, and I'd make people go through initiations to join the club, and you had to earn the money in a certain way that I mapped out, and it's kind of still what I do. I just start clubs and make people go through initiations.
Okay, so let's go into it. So you go to high school, you go to university, and what was your vision? So yours is like architecture, right?
Yeah,
like, especially as a valedictorian, like, you're definitely on the path of like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right?
Like, that's like
I was supposed to be a lawyer.
Okay,
so
that was totally.
Yeah.
Is anybody surprised? Just type if you're fucking surprised you're supposed to be an attorney.
I do like to argue a little. I was kind of like, oh, I want to be a journalist or an author and a writer, but it was really like law was the pathway I was on, and so much so that we were moved to Germany when I was a teenager. We're not German, but my dad was moved there for work, and we actually moved back to Australia in part so that I could finish the final 2 years of schooling in Australia in order to be able to be eligible to study law in Australia, right? And so then...
So you're born and raised in Australia?
Born and raised in Melbourne, yeah.
Melbourne, and then New Zealand.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So for, like, really dumb people like me, is it the same shit? Or like they're completely different? Are they like really far away from each other? Like, what? I'm gonna ask the uncomfortable questions. Right now you're watching like, hold on, what's the difference? What the fuck is it both?
We definitely have better espresso, but I'm gonna give New Zealand the wine.
Okay,
I'm gonna be very...
New Zealand wins the wine.
To be honest, it's
more
New Zealand rocks it on the wine, and also it is very pretty.
It's pretty. New Zealand's better.
I heard good things about New Zealand.
Well, you got to get one of Kiwis to make up for everything else.
Cheers. So, Miss Attorney, when did it all switch? Like, when did
Do you know when did
Kat? When was she born?
I'm gonna say up until around the age of 16, I totally cared 100% about being acknowledged by my teachers as being a great student. I was like teacher's pet, school square, right? I always wanted to be acknowledged.
You would have hated me in high school because I was totally the class clown. Like, fuck it.
I would have probably been envious of you because I would have been envious.
But I would have low-key been envious of you. Like, damn, she just got all this.
Yeah. I would have probably been envious of how confident and free you were.
Right.
So, yeah, I was always that student, and it was around the age of 16, 17 where I kind of stopped. Do you know what happened? I realized that I could get away with anything I wanted because my brand at school of the good girl was so rock solid. And so I started turning out like...
So you guys could have murdered your principals, and it's like, no big deal.
I went to a school where you had to wear like the exact uniform, even the socks and the hair tie had to be correct. And I started wearing these knee-high, stripy, rainbow-coloured socks. Any other student in the school would have been sent home. And I just got away with it. And then I started wearing jeans with my school blazer, and I just got away with it. And then I just started not going to classes, and I still got A+ because I am, like, intellectually I'm sorted, right? I don't need to study for that. I never studied for any of my final exams, and I still came top. So I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh, she's just like born like this. No, because everything else I've had to create, but the intellectual side and being acknowledged and approved by my students, by my teachers, like in my final year of school, I'm pretty certain I went to only about 40% of classes. I still came top of every class, and I even received the best behavior or best attendance reward at the end of the school in the presentation.
And you were low-key selling drugs.
Well, my parents... Do you know what I was doing? I was up in the local shopping mall in the library, reading books. That's what I was doing when I was not attending classes, because I was bored. It wasn't challenging me. But at the presentation at the end of school, when I got called up for every single class except for sports, I was honestly like, I didn't even really go, but okay, I feel bad that I'm getting the award. And then I got into college and everything, or university as we call it, and I literally went to one class, and I was like, all of a sudden my motivation to be a good student completely 100%
Well, explain that. So like, here's a lifer of like doing really good in school,
and
with this
striving
thing, like,
to be a lawyer.
yeah, and then what do you mean? Like all this, like I don't understand.
So here's the thing. I look back now and I realize I didn't understand this at the time, but I look back now and I realize the only reason that I cared so much about getting amazing grades in school was because of other people's approval and reassurance. And at college, at university, nobody's marking your attendance at a lecture. You're one in a big sea of students. It's a huge.
So all of the attention that was earned
university.
It was gone.
Nobody can see whether or not you go there. There's no patting on the head, basically. And I just realized that I didn't actually care. I wasn't motivated to be there. So I didn't want to let my parents know that this whole thing of being a lawyer that we'd all in my family been focused on for several years, that was not going to happen. So I continued to go to university to class. I went to the campus, and what I did was I set up a little shop in the retail section of the college, and I gave people facials, which I was completely unqualified to do, but I made some good money.
Wait, can you discuss the transition that happened there?
I just wanted to make some money, and because I wanted my parents to think I was still going. So I would go to campus. I'm like, well, I'm not just going to sit here. What
so you
will I
didn't
do?
tell your parents you dropped out of college?
Not straight away. I did soon enough, and you know what? They were completely supportive.
Do you see how smooth? Like she's so good at speaking. You just completely missed the fact that she dropped out of college. That was the punchline. The punchline was she fucking quit. I did too.
Well, do you know what? I didn't even fully drop out. I went to the administrative board or whatever it was. I don't even know how I did this to this day. I ended up inventing my own new double degree. Like, I don't think you can just invent a degree. But I was like, I presented my case. I'm like, well, I want to study. I decided the law thing. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I was already starting to feel like, oh, officers and stuff. Yeah. So I thought I would do the writing thing instead. But meanwhile, I was getting into fitness and training. So when I presented my case to do basically a split, like a double degree between human movement, which is, sports and health sciences type stuff, split with professional writing and editing. And somehow they let me design my own degree.
Like, okay, whatever you say.
Yeah, but I never ended up finishing that. I never finished. I'm like 3 subjects short of finishing a college degree, so I'm doing alright.
That's literally me.
Maybe one day I'll do that.
I didn't finish my last class, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and I was like, man, it's 3 subjects. Just do it. But I just didn't care. I actually was not even on this pathway, right? It's not like I was like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build an empire. I was lost. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I just knew that there had to be more.
So here's a question. So this comes along, and then how the fuck do you go from a super student who says fuck it, that's like kind of doing it, it's like doing some little side hustles on the side, to like where you are, like what was the first step of like what?
Yeah, totally. So at the time, I honestly thought I was being completely irresponsible and fucking up my life, right? Like I wasn't coming from the perspective that I am now. Like obviously born entrepreneur, was never going to fit in that box. At the time I was like, shit, what am I going to do? I had a plan. So I did what a lot of lost 18 or 19 year olds do, and I just packed a bag, and I went to Europe.
That is like the epitome of like, yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going overseas.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Well, I had spent my teen years in Germany, so I had good friends there, and I spent 3 months, like 6 weeks of that back in Germany with my friend there, and then another 6 weeks traveling around by myself, and had an amazing time. And then when I got back to Australia, I realized I'd gained like 14 pounds or something, and so I just started hitting the gym really hard. And I got really obsessed with the gym pretty quickly, and I was going every day, and I still didn't know what the hell I was going to do with my life. And one of the trainers at the gym just commented to me like a joke, and he said, "You're here every day, haha, you should work here." And I just went,
Fuck
it. Totally. Fuck
I
it.
want to work here.
And I walked straight up to the reception, got a job as a receptionist, and then went and enrolled in like a 2-week course, which was all you had to do back then. This is like 16, 17 years ago, right? 17 years ago. When I was 20, I think at the time, or 20, 21, so I'm 37 now. And did this 2-week
Still
course.
looks 25 though. Shout out to guys.
Thank you. Cheers.
We will.
Yeah, she's too young for that. We actually get younger here.
Yeah.
We do get younger. All of us. It's just, that's the thing. We
Magic.
can't explain it, but
Indeed.
if you come into this world. So
For 30 grand a month.
Exactly. We can tell you that right now. We can trade and launch that product right now. Let's
Which
do
one?
it.
I was going to say, like, we're going to talk about this for
We
a
have
second.
to
Like,
sell. We have live stream.
okay, watch this. You want to talk about selling? Pull up. Do you guys have an image pulled up? We always have something in queue, like for a moment of like if we're gonna sell. So in our live stream, pull it up, Paul. I don't know if you have it or not. Do we have like try the gene pool? We have like certain images that we can put on our live stream at any time, where we're just ready to fucking
Is
sell
it like
some
a
shit.
big gong?
It's not a big gong. It's just like image visual. There it is. TryTheGenePool.com. We're fucking ready. Like at any given time, like, there's some shit to sell. Like there's we're in a moment. You know what I mean? Like so, we gauge the audience and we're like, what's the best offer? And so we got that shit queued up. You can take it away from now because we haven't made an offer, but you know, if you don't want to sell some shit, boy.
No, we're on. All right,
So the thing with the gym thing was, like, I guess it was an escape or a distraction, and I was into fitness, but what it did was it reignited my entrepreneurial spark. And I, you know, like, I'm sure, like, pretty much everybody here, right? I was one of those kids that was selling, like, lemons and oranges door to door when I was 4, and I was making, like, $1,000 a week as an Avon lady when I was 11, and then I had all my clubs.
Wait, hold on. That's
I was always hustling.
the fuck.
Born to hustle.
Hold on a second. Like, maybe I'm the only one who wants to know, but I think that's very interesting because I skipped it. You were 11 making a G a week.
Yeah. Selling Avon. I was an Avon lady.
I want you guys to think about this.
That was my first MLM.
Wait, but like on a completely fucking like it's a completely serious note. Like
Yeah.
straight up, 11 years old.
I just think
Whoa.
you got that in your blood, right? Like some people are just born to hustle, born entrepreneur.
What it does is my fucking phone there is it changes your perspective. When you are at 11, making $4 grand a month, by the time you get to fucking 18. Your brain is in a whole different place. Really think about that. If you're making the same thing when you're 18, which is respectable, like living in any country, like you do that, like you're still doing well.
Right.
But for Kat, that was, I was doing that when I was 11. Who wants to be in the same fucking spot that they were in when they were 11?
I'm gonna tell you, my daughter will be there. She'll be a millionaire by the time she's
That's
10 or 11.
dude. I'm telling you, I still like. I'm like, she's gonna be slanging so much shit. She's gonna have an entire
very
course
smart.
by 7.
She's hustling.
Like, I'm gonna start branding her
She
shit
has
now.
a brand. She has
Babe, like some people like pass down like money to their kids. Like, nah, I'm gonna pass down a following to you.
No, I can't get out on the
You already,
street
yeah.
and
You gonna be the 11-year-old
She's
ringleader.
like outside our house on the street
Yeah.
selling already.
Yeah.
But actually, you know what? She came up with that idea herself. I didn't tell her to.
Fucking
So-
shit. So you're badass. So you go to the training thing. You're like, fuck it, I'm gonna work here, and then.
Well, it just the personal training thing reignited
I just spilled a bunch of shit on it.
entrepreneurial side because I quickly realized that I could control and create my own income. I did genuinely love fitness. I started doing a lot of fitness modeling and like competitions and that sort of thing. And I was just living and breathing the fitness world. Started dating a guy there. Eventually married him. That didn't work out. That was part of the quarter life crisis. But when I was in the gym, I realized I could make as much money as I
You can't
wanted.
just categorize that in the quarter life crisis and blow by that little spot. Hey, you think I'm gonna let you just slide that shit by? You know how many people are watching right now that are in a relationship that number one? Matter of fact, let's see if we can get a comment. Let's see if we can get anybody to admit it. If you're watching right now on your stream, on our stream, if you're watching right now and you're in a relationship that you know you shouldn't be in, type yes in the chat right now.
Give us a
No,
yes.
fuck it. You know, hey,
Honesty-
you know they ain't watching. Just
honesty
someone
is
type
king.
yes in the
Honesty
chat right
will
now.
win
You know
every
you
single
shouldn't be in it.
time.
Hey, and if my girl's on the line right now, baby, you better talk fuck no. If you on it right now, you better type some shit and let them know, like, no, we good. You know, this is.
Well, we could get to that a drink or two down the track. No,
we're gonna go on, guys. Don't worry.
We'll go there. We'll go there. We'll go everywhere. But in the gym, like I was the only female. I was the youngest. There were 10 trainers who are all older than me and all guys, and I was outselling all 10 combined because I don't know. Like it is in my blood, that desire to hustle and make money, and I don't even think about it. Like it's not like I strategically sat down at 11 and decided, yes, I should start earning my living now. It was just almost like it's like a predator's nature is to hunt, right? My nature is to hunt and to hustle as well, and I think that's true for all of us.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just it was like there's many times in my life where I wasn't doing that and I wasn't being that person, but it was always going to come out. Like eventually it was going to come out, and so it would come out as an Avon lady, or selling shit door to door, or drawing my friends into clubs, or then Nutrimetics, or whatever other MLMs, and then personal training.
You know what I love about that is I think a lot of people will take like an Avon lady or something and associate it with someone who just didn't have anything else going on, but he was, I'm like, you're typical.
Is that even legal?
But what I'm saying is here's the valedictorian, like the smartest girl in her school, like going the hustle route. And I think just so many people belittle that, like, I remember, like, it was fucking yesterday, like, when I decided, like, after college to not, like, go into finance at Toyota or fucking do what all my friends are doing. I had a lot of friends that still do that are, like, CPAs, like, really fucking, like, skilled people. They're smart as shit. They do well. They live a fucking good life. They're super happy. But when I decided to derail from that, they would all talk shit behind my back. Every fucking single one of them, literally every single one of them would say like, "Oh yeah, didn't finish school, I'm so cool, I'm an entrepreneur," and it was funny to them. Well, cheers to that now. But that's the thing is, I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs realize that. That's what you have to go through, and that's what you have to endure. Is like you have to be willing to accept the fact that people are going to throw a lot of fucking stones.
They're not going to get it.
Right? But that's the thing. It's like what we were talking about before. When your vision is so single-minded, like for me, even before I remotely knew what I'd end up doing and what my true message and calling was, it didn't matter. I knew that I was going to make millions, impact millions, change the world. So anything like that came up along the way, including my own doubts.
I like that. She dropped something on you too. Make millions, impact millions, change the world. It was subtle, but it was real. It was real. Yeah, make millions, impact millions, change the world. You don't steal that, right?
Okay, no.
And I'm going to run ads to it too. They're going to be like, Billie Jean just made up the greatest quote of all time.
Alright, my team is watching. Trademark that shit.
That's so funny. I think it's an interesting thing to chat about though, because everyone's like, you know, is entrepreneurship born or is it bred? And like, where's that line between?
I think it's born. I'm totally like, you can learn it, but that doesn't mean you are.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. I think definitely like there's stuff that's literally passed down through your cells emotionally that's in there and you get it. But at the same time, like there's a lot of stuff conditioning wise, like that I remember from a young age. Like, I mean, same deal. I went to an amazing school in Auckland, really fortunate.
I went to a private Catholic school my whole life, so I feel you guys.
Right. So I remember coming home and I was like 7 years old. I remember saying, "Dad, where's my pocket money?" And my dad's like,
"Pocket money?
You don't get pocket money.
What you make?"
Right. And then my dad's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "But everyone at the school gets pocket money. Like, where's mine? That's not fair, right?" And Dad's like, "Well, you know, you don't just get money handed to you. You have to do something of value, and then you'll get money." And I remember as literally like a 7-year-old being like, and I was like, "Well, what should I do?" And Dad's like, "You got to figure that out."
Yes.
And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Well,
I'm about to cook these brownies."
Right, yeah. I was literally like,
"Here's some value."
I was like, "Can I wash the car?"
Yeah.
Dad's like, "All right, you can wash the car." I was like, "What will you pay me?" And Dad's like, "I'll pay you whatever over this, right? $20, $10, whatever." And I figured out all of a sudden that there were more cars in the streets. I was like, "Can I go wash the next car?" And Dad's like, "Yeah, go wash it."
But I think that's born, not bred.
But
because how many kids would actually do that and figure that out?
But the difference is, I don't know if it would have been triggered if the conditioning hadn't been there.
I
was wanting pocket money.
I get an interesting balance on this because I got the benefit of having parents who really took care of me, and I got some good stuff. At the same time, they both grew up on welfare.
Right.
So I got to see literally, you know, our family. We seen a lot of drugs and shit, and like all just the shit that nobody wanted to deal with.
Yeah.
And then I also got to go to like University of San Diego, which is some of the wealthiest people in the world.
Right.
You know, and see that dope perspective. And so I always, as I started to kind of grow in this like entrepreneur thing, is I did realize like people who have seen success have a largely like increased chance of achieving it.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people don't realize it exists. In a sense
in
of,
my family was entrepreneurial. It
but
was
like,
just about
not against you, but I'm just saying, like, in general, like, I just think a lot of people just don't realize it's possible.
Yeah.
Because imagine if virtually every single person in your world,
Right.
the best person was doing a job for minimum wage.
Right.
That means if you were making a little above minimum wage, you're doing good.
There's so many
Right.
entrepreneurs who have come from that background though. And I just think like there's entrepreneurs who come from a really supportive, amazing family background. There's some who've come from wealth. There's some who've come
Sure.
from poverty. There's some who've come from completely getting abused and beaten down. And yet the
Well,
ones who are going to win are ultimately going to win.
I think that's why I'm so obsessed, though, is with diving into histories of, like, what was the moment, what was the experience, who was the
Right.
coach,
Yeah,
who
of
was the
course.
first ebook, like that.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? Because
Yeah.
if we can
Yeah.
understand it, then we can recreate
See,
that
my
for
thing-
everybody else who doesn't have it
Absolutely.
and make it again, you know? So I
Absolutely.
think that balance
Right.
is
Yeah.
there.
See, my opinion is maybe like less supportive than that as far as for people watching who feel like, am I that person? I just feel like if you have to ask that question, you're not. And I think you can totally go, yes, it was this person said this to me and that triggered this, or I downloaded this ebook or this thing happened and that was a moment in time. But my feeling about that is more like looking more broad scope or more holistically. I just feel like cool, that's cool that happened, but if it wasn't that, it would have been something else because I was born for this and it was always going to happen.
I think we need to also define entrepreneur and define success, right? Because it's very easy for us to sit here and go, you know what, if you were born to impact millions and make millions, you know. And I agree with you on that. And like people like us, like they get it. And there's people watching right now being like, that's me, I fucking get it, right? But like, what about the single mom that's like in a job that could go and be an Avon lady and like replace her income and do like 70K
That's
per
not a
year
true
from home?
entrepreneur.
But
That's
it's
somebody that can make a good wage in business.
and that's who the difference is,
Yeah.
right?
Wow. Well, because I heard both sides, because I'm totally with you on there. It's like,
No, you can do that. You can make a nice little 70K or 100K. Good for you, and go and do that.
I think you have to
to me is
define-
not a born entrepreneur. In
okay.
my definition.
And that's fair,
Yeah.
but I think you definitely have to literally define you're right, what an
And that's what I'm
entrepreneur
saying,
is, because
that can
I
be
do think
learned.
there's a certain breed right now that thinks they're an entrepreneur. And who the fuck says it's Gary Vee? Like Gary Vee talks about like that person would make a great number 2. So I think I'm you know what I mean, and that's okay. Like that's the one thing I don't like right now is people
totally
are getting, like people are like getting trounced for like
go to make 100K.
Sure.
And
which is great. Like, and honestly, like we have to deal with responsibilities and like fucking barriers that none of us really want to deal with a lot of
that
time.
rather than getting a job, for sure.
Sure. So
Right.
it's a tough balance. I'm gonna go through questions for a second there because I've completely ignored you guys.
Yeah, if you
And-
have questions, comment on the
Definitely.
And by the way, if I have an accent when I talk, it's because I have no choice. It's just I've been it's a vodka accent mix, you know, like these two here.
Yeah.
These cups are fantastic, but they have an extreme amount of drippage. If you guys can see this in the camera, the drippage is very, very real. So question. Yeah, you got a good cup. But questions right now, and then we'll go through.
We got some yeses on the relationship question.
Oh, they threw out the truth. Oh shit!
Right.
You got some real ass people on there.
Right, I do.
So we'll kind of scroll back up a little bit because I've ignored these for quite some time.
Read the
What's up, guys?
So it says, "Whoa, I want to increase my rates, but how do I justify such a price point in terms of ROI?" Okay. Now, Jacinda, I know her, you know, personally, and she's with us, and I'm very like, you know, we do customer acquisition, so we run ads. So I'm like, you know, very straightforward.
Right.
You can make someone X amount of money. You can justify it there. So that's one angle. However, what's fun is you guys deal a lot with the mental side, and I'm telling you, I cannot stress. I have a couple friends who I fucking tell them all the time, what's holding you back right now is all mental. It has nothing to do with the strategy or technique. But if you're not in that state of personal development, you just will never get that. And I personally struggle having a conversation with someone who doesn't understand the value and like understand it's really up here. While you hear stories of people making millions and then going broke and making millions again, because it has nothing to do with whatever the fuck they were doing. I know, it's so irrelevant. But like that belief does not happen at that next layer. So I have trouble. So what would you guys tell her in regards to raising prices and maybe some tips, because that's what y'all do.
Yeah.
Give her some hot sauce.
For sure. I mean, I think a lot of it's relevant to what Regan said before about your confidence just gradually growing, and it's about starting to see a new level of normal, because a lot of people will hear a price like 30K and feel like that's a huge big price point, but to be honest, for us, we feel like that's a very normal average price point. And we understand logically that it's not for everybody.
Right. It's not meant to be.
Right. But it's also like, it would feel really weird if it was a lot less than that for us, for where we are in our businesses. And I'm going to say that even our clients and community, like I've had moments where I've had doubt around my own pricing and I've dropped my pricing down. And I've had a few clients and community members say to me like, whoa, I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. And then I was like, shit, like I'm totally coming from a place of scarcity in my own mind instead of owning the level.
Talk a little bit more about that. I don't think a lot of people get that.
Yeah, okay, so I think that all decisions are made either out of fear or love, or there's other words that you could use for fear or love. Scarcity or abundance is another way that you could say it. But let's say that you're choosing a price where, if you're really honest with yourself, deep in your soul, you know that the reason you're choosing that price is because you're scared that if you go any higher, people won't buy, and you feel like, if I just undercut the market a little bit, or if I make it like easy for people to say yes because it's a cheap price point, I'm just going to get some quick cash flow and I'll get people through. Do you know what? You'll actually end up making a lot less money, and you'll end up probably with the wrong clients as well.
Yeah, and then you'll be miserable. And that's
and it's actually not fair on them either, or yourself. Whereas if you charge the correct price, now you don't want to like overshoot it and be like, I'm just going to charge 30K.
Well, you can do that, but then it won't be aligned.
You'll learn from that. I think everybody goes through this stuff anyway. I've definitely done charging too little, and I've definitely pushed too high too soon. And so that's all part of the learning process, right? None of us are ever going to move forward on our entrepreneurial journeys without making a ton of mistakes, and that's how we learn and grow. So the best that you can do is the best you can do right now. And the way that I do things like pricing, but really any decision in my business, is if I'm feeling compelled to charge a certain price, I'm going to ask myself, is that actually the true price that I believe in my heart that this is meant to be? Or am I essentially going, well, I need some cash flow this week.
Or what should I charge? Or what do people expect?
Or what's like the competition charging or something. It doesn't matter. It's always what is the right price. And that applies to actually everything. What is the right decision about what to launch, what to sell, who to collaborate with. It's not, does it make sense on paper? Can I argue the pros and cons logically? It's, is it right? And I think that the more you ask yourself those sort of questions, which I do a lot through journaling and a lot of kind of time by myself, thinking about stuff and really reflecting on what I want, the more frequently you're asking yourself these sort of questions, like, is this right? Is this in alignment? Is this how it should be? Then you become very tuned in. You know, everybody has natural wisdom and natural intuition, but if you're not in a habit of listening to it, then you're probably therefore listening to stuff outside of you, and so you feel like you can't trust your own judgment. You don't know what's actually going on in here. So just realize and recognize that you might just have to practice. Give a little time and practice and attention to learning to listen in here, because I'm at a point now, Regan's at a point now, you're at a point now where you can decide for yourself, right? You might be interested in what other people are doing. I'm always curious, like, what is Regan doing? What are you doing? I want to know. But ultimately, the decision is going to come from in here. Yeah. And that's a skill that you can actually develop, but it's accessible to everybody. Every single human person has natural wisdom.
And to piggyback off of that, I think it has a lot to really owning and understanding your own values, right? Totally. So, like, for example, like, in January, I offered some one-on-one coaching for quite some time, and I was just so overwhelmed at what was happening, and I was losing, like, family time, etc., and it was good, but, like, I saw that, and I was just like, man, it's, to me, personally, it's not worth it, like, literally for me to do one-on-one coaching with someone, it would have to either be so, like, within a time box, or, like, so expensive, like, it would, you know what I mean? Like, it's only fitting to very few.
And that's another question of alignment, because if something in your business is costing you something that you don't want to pay, then it's not in alignment, even though it might make you a ton of money. But I also believe that the more you respond to that call within and you act from alignment, that actually the more money you'll make.
So you mentioned alignment a lot. Like, when you're saying alignment, what are you talking about? Like, for everyone watching, what does that mean?
Well, even before this, I think it's important to talk about authenticity, because I just want to, we've talked about rates and what we charge and everything like that, but I think people watching need to know that both of us individually have spent over $500,000 on personal development and coaching and mentoring and courses, and
hold on, let's say that. Can we say it 3 more times?
And a lot of that came from debt, to be honest. It came from investing before I had the money.
It came from when we didn't have the money.
Hold on. I mean, if we throw Meissen in there, we up there.
We're up there.
We up there. We up there.
Yeah.
And that's massive. So people go out and they're like, I'm going to charge
exactly. Yeah, Kat and I, can we tell them? We both spent 18 G's to, like, just go to meet. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
To be quite honest, and we spoke about this, if you had told told me it was, if he had told me it was 35, I expected 30, 35.
Yeah,
and I would have spent it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, literally, you just...
But
whatever.
guys, really realize, don't sit there and be like, oh, but you guys all have multi-7-figure businesses, so you can drop that, because we were dropping that before we had the money.
Right.
It was like, fuck, but I know I need to say yes to this, and then it was like, oh my god, how am I going to create this money? Where is it going to come from?
Well,
I sold my house, my car, my
I keep telling every people, like, it's the better I become in business, the more I've understood, and I'm sure you guys can agree with this, the more you've learned, the more you appreciate coaching and consulting because you get over the mistakes.
Right.
Every time you try and figure it out by yourself, it's the fucking lamest thing ever. Like, it's slow. You only make decisions based off of what you know. You don't know what you don't know. It's literally the dumbest mistake. And I was the worst. I was the worst up in there. I was like, fuck that shit. I'm just going to try and figure it out myself. Fuck it. I can learn that on YouTube. Fuck it. And I was so stupid. So now, if I put it this way, I'll tell you guys another one. So we spent 18 G's there, and then fucking this month, I literally just dropped like 9K or 8K. I don't fucking know. I don't pay attention. But literally, for real. But I just spent it on YouTube consultants because we have a fucking ton of videos and we're underutilizing it. So who did I go? I called
an extra 200K, not all at once this week, but in commitments, an extra 200K committed this week, and I've got to come up with like 65 of that right now on top of my normal business expenses, which are not low because I have a team now and I have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's never can I afford this.
Right.
It's do I know this is right? Then I'm just going to say yes, and I'm going to have to, like, run
make it
like
happen.
the fucking wind to make it happen.
Right. And here's how much we get this mindset, because Kat and I consciously do this every month. We're like, okay, what can we actually invest into? What can we spend? What can we commit to where it's uncomfortable, where we don't actually just have it sitting
Being uncomfortable is so important. People don't realize that you gotta do it.
Huge problem.
Be fucking uncomfortable.
We get that is actually going to up-level our results and shift our income and grow our businesses and our brands and our mindsets.
We were talking about this last night in the town car. Like, if you're making decisions based on what you feel ready for, you've got a massive fucking
You're way
problem.
too late. If you're ready, like if you're ready, you missed the freaking mark.
Ronnie says you spent 18K to meet. Yeah. I mean, it was a lot more than that, but sure.
But you know what? I totally would have spent the 80K just to like go hang out for a day and not even talk about business. Because to me, one of the beliefs that I have, and we share this belief, is that every single cent that is invested is returned at least tenfold over. But
maybe 100 times.
And maybe more than 10, but minimum 10, right? Instantly, that's a belief.
Yeah.
And one of my other beliefs is that the second I invest something, I already received the return on investment.
Right.
Because the fact that I said to myself, when Frank Kern sends an email inviting 6 people to have dinner with him, and it's 18K, and I'm going to decide to be one of those 6, that automatically makes me a certain type of person. I feel like just by saying yes and investing that money, before I even left Australia and flew to San Diego, that I already got the return.
All of us being in like the teaching and coaching, it's like, how do we not practice what we preach? We should 100% be investing, and we all do.
And
you know what I mean?
All of this comes down to who you're choosing to be right now. Okay, so I don't want you guys watching in to go, oh, look at their results, or look at what they've created. It's actually irrelevant. It's how we choose to show up every single day. It's an identity. It's a choice, you know. And oh my god, you guys got me started on identity. It's like,
nobody in the world speaks on identity.
But I think that's so perfect because I mean, I'm gonna let you go, but I'll just say this: like at the end of the day, it's a certain type of person, right? Because some people would, anyone who is investing 18K for a couple days to learn something will find value to make it worth it. It's impossible not to.
Who believes in their success, right? Because you and I, we're not going, oh shit, I hope that Frank tells me something that's going to make me money. We will make it happen. It's not, like, we're not even thinking like that. It's 100% certain that we're going to make the money back, and then a hell of a lot more as a result.
Like, literally, it was such a whatever decision, and falling for long, trust them, whatever. Yeah. Literally, I was just like, here, like, I forgot what Taylor Ash was. Taylor. Totally. Like, I was like, yeah, do it, whatever.
Send the money. 18K, and you know what? He mentioned that in the room. He said that every single one of you guys, like, nobody asked any questions, nobody needed information.
No, because, like, no, it's a different level.
It's just like, cool, but... Like, she called me up, and I thought she was just calling his assistant to get my credit card details, and then she's like, so what do you want to ask? And I'm like,
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet.
I don't even care what's happening in that room. I'm just going to be in the room.
Yep.
Yes.
Identity. Let's go.
Let's hear it.
Wait, do we have any immediate questions here? Question for both ladies: when it comes to coaching and consulting sessions that you have with clients, after you establish their problem to solve over several months, 90-day, oh, this is long, 90-day plan or any time frame, What is your structure for those sessions like after payment? Is there a framework you follow to ensure results? Or is it more so a topic each week that you give advice for and hold them liable for? A specific mini/sample/example will be greatly appreciated if possible. That's from Brendan Nwanko.
Okay. So, alright. Let me
Oh,
check.
she's getting Taylor, we need shots. It's time for a shot. This is hold on.
We're just like sending
I don't know what's happening. I just feel like force fields being like this is like daggers.
We just sent like 100.
We need like a fucking.
Either of us could say this word for word, right? So everything you've just asked, quite honestly, is going to limit what you're looking to create in your life. Okay, so if we look at manifestation. And ultimately, you're wanting to manifest some sort of result.
Define manifestation because
or creating what you want in your life, right? If you're looking to manifest or create whatever it is that you desire at your core in alignment, the worst thing that you can do is look for a plan. Like seriously, it is completely irrelevant. It means absolutely nothing. And if anything, it's actually going to pin you to where you are now, right? Like the number one law of manifestation is that you don't worry about how it's going to happen. You simply lock it in and you go, okay, cool. What is it that I truly desire? Big picture, totally unfiltered, raw and unreal. You lock that shit in and then you simply act from the space as if it's done, showing up as who you need to be every day. So who you need to be doesn't go, oh my God, what's the plan? When's the 90 days in the street? You just go, it's done. It's fucking done. And now I'm just going to take your aligned action every single day. So stop worrying about that.
I want to chime on that. We have something that we need to do as a unit here.
Shots?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I like
Take one down, pass it around. Take one down.
Have you tried Campari?
Let's get there after. So I mean, it was.
Okay.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Take.
my
Like
God.
we can give that one a cat. Like you know.
You know we fast
sip
through the
it,
day,
too.
so we haven't eaten because we fast till
Oh, yeah,
like 3 p.m.
excuses?
usually or later.
Is that what we're teaching?
No,
You know these people live stream. Is that what?
listen, I'm just warning you. I'm
Oh,
not giving you an
okay,
excuse.
fair enough.
I'm just like,
know that was who we were.
fair warning. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like I want to donate mine to my drink. Does that work?
Oh my God.
Cheers.
Okay. It's going down, people. Alright.
It's happening
Seems
right
to be
now.
the new thing, like fasting and then drinking
Here we go.
without breaking the fast. Alright.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Alright, that's so inappropriate.
Woo!
Try this stuff you've never heard of.
Now let's have some real conversation here. Let's pull off the gloves. Let's see. Yeah, this is now we're talking here. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Out of control.
These mint leaves are cool, but they're just so in the way when I'm trying to drink.
I know you want
You got the potion over there. Okay.
We got it. Well, we always like to have amino acids with our vodka shots for breakfast.
Yes, of course. Our daily routine. You asked about the daily routine. Just look.
Alright, what are we up to? What's going on?
We were talking about identity. We were talking about manifestation. We were talking about screw the how and fuck the plan because it's
Well,
completely
That
irrelevant.
shot just
Well,
went
what
straight to you. She's like, ah,
Well, this is. Shut up.
how?
You should put the champagne bottle in the ice so it's cold. And if you want
Good
to
call.
hold it, I can do it. 'Cause it's cold.
Oh, nice.
Okay, Emma, calm down.
We're not fucking around here.
No, this is good.
So relevant to our dinner date tonight, it might be a little less professional than it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you guys know.
You said something huge, and I forgot what fucking book it was that I read it in, but the concept has literally stuck with me so much, and I think it was kind of what you're talking about. But it was how some people, you know, make the decisions of if this is going to well, if this is going,
If this, then that.
if this is going, yeah, if this, then that, versus like,
No what?
versus how I can make this happen. Right, so in other words, like we would go to an investment like it's been 18 grand. We'd be like, dude, we're gonna make it worth it, and that's automatically programmed into our brains. Other people would say, well, if I go, is this gonna be worth it? And that mentality, you lost. You can't win when you have it. You cannot win.
Somebody messages us something like that as a client, though, we're like, ooh.
You know the red flag. Exactly. You know to stay away from it.
I
You
can
should
work with you.
Yeah.
Whereas the client who's like, I want to work with you one-on-one. How much is it? Okay, this much. Cool. Do you have any questions? No.
Exactly.
That's the perfect client because you know that person, not because they're low maintenance, although they are, but because that person has the mindset of, oh, I know I'm going to get the value. And here's a distinction that you need to understand as a coach or a mentor. The value, yes, you deliver value as a coach and mentor, 100%, right? But actually it's not your responsibility to deliver the value to the client. As a client, it's my responsibility as a client for me to get value. I don't go to Frank's house and go, Frank, you have to prove yourself to me. What are you going to give me for my 18K? I'm going in there going, I am responsible for that return on investment. I am responsible for the value, and every single cent I spend, like obviously I'm only hiring people I believe and trust in and have a resonance with, but I am in no way, shape or form putting any responsibility onto them for them to like save me.
And that was the topic of conversation all the time, is the quality of customer. So like literally something that we have like implemented into our business now is when someone wants to come into any of our coaching programs, the very first thing that we say, and like I have it fucking typed out, is just so you know, there's no refunds, there's no guarantees, and we promise you nothing. And then the next line is, do you still want to have this conversation? Literally, like just fucking like, dude. And then the people who are like, yeah, like, okay, you're a real G, let's talk. And the other ones are like, well, okay, later. Bye. That's fine, right?
Yeah,
so,
totally
dude, I mean,
fine.
just the best fucking question
You're
ever.
always welcome to your own.
Someone has a great question. Well, we can just go through the row. Michael Bass asked, what would you do if you were starting out again today with $200 to $250 to $500 to work with to start a laptop business? One you can do anywhere.
I started my business with like $120 and it's now making heading up to $500K a month. So
boss lady. Yeah, it's real.
Same.
So you actually don't really need any money to start the business. I mean, yes, you're going to need to invest in mentoring.
All
and
limiting
you're going to
beliefs,
choose
right?
to
Like
do
just
that. But I started I literally started a free WordPress blog in 2007. It was free, and I think I paid some chick like $100 to do me a little logo. And then at some point I decided I should get onto a proper like .com WordPress site, which was maybe $120 or something like that. And then I would have obviously paid for a URL and hosting, but it was definitely under $500. And I was already making like 25 to 30K a year. Before, okay, here's the thing, right? I've been online now for like 9.5 years. I am just about to launch this month or next month my first professionally designed website. It's been a total hack job up until this point in time.
You want to hear something funny? We didn't have a website for a long time. I was actually against it. I literally told him, like, now should you have it and all that stuff? Absolutely. But nonetheless, you don't.
It's nice to have. It's the cherry on top.
There are so many people with a free freaking website and
that are
make
shit.
pretty website and shove it up your ass.
It's crazy. Another shot. Bring it on. We're starting to get real.
This is a valid point because so many people think, to shop online, I've got to have this professional website, professional photos and all this stuff, and I'm like, no. You need to get your content out there. You need to message.
A fucking modeling competition where you have to have professional headshots to sell shit
Or,
online.
dude, I mean, the worst, so,
it's important to be as hot as fuck. Let's be honest.
What are you talking about? The photos are good.
No, but you don't need it to start selling.
You don't.
It's the wrong way around. Like, people are coming in and going, I've got to have a pretty website and a photo shoot and a fucking
you just need a good filter on Instagram.
But we didn't even have filters 10 years ago.
No, in addition to that, like, so us having an advertising agency, a lot of people say, like, all right, well, I'm going to, spend $2,000 on a fucking photo shoot with someone. I'm like, dude, that's shit after you made it when you want to dress stuff up. But, like, it's so, I'm like, take a fucking selfie with your iPhone. And here's the reality. If you're actually genuinely helping people, all the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. If someone can watch your content and if your whole thing is like, every morning while you're in the fucking bathroom, you take a selfie video and you're able to solve people's problems for them, they're gonna fucking like you. It's just so irrelevant. But the shit we make up in our heads is fucking insane.
I agree with people. Like, if they're like, but I want the photos and I want the website. I'm like, you can go and do all that. You can invest that money.
It's not going to slow anything else.
No, as long as you're in profit. It's that simple. If you can go and collect payments, you can do whatever the fuck you want to reinvest back into your business.
Or I guess you're willing to go into massive debt.
But if someone's starting out with $500 and they want to, you need to go and you need to show up, you need to message, you need to launch, solve people's problems.
All you need to do is produce content. That costs nothing.
I have a question.
Produce content on
this
social media.
This is on some real shit. It's a big deal. It's a real deal.
Be quiet.
I genuinely believe that there's a ton of people in this world / game that are willing to work hard. Matter of fact, I give working hard 0 credit. It's just because everyone's willing. It's like literally everyone's able to work hard. I think the difference is in what you're willing to sacrifice.
Ooh, I like it.
100%.
Yeah, totally.
It's you know, is it the awkward conversation with your friends, the not talking to your family because they don't understand your dreams and your goals, like whatever it is, right? It's 100% those. To me, that's the entrepreneur who can take all of these little chips and these shots and still get through. So, you guys, what are some of the sacrifices now looking back, you know, decade later, like? What were they that you would tell the camera now, like, this is what I had to do? Really? Even I realize it. Realizing that's what I have to do.
You know what? Like, I was on a plane out from Texas back to LA the other day, 2 days ago, and I got chatting to the people next to me because they were both Aussies as well. It's not like, I don't mean I only chat to Aussies. You know, I only talk to Aussies.
Yeah,
that's it. No, we just got into a conversation, and, you know, I get passionate and, like, fired up sharing my stuff.
You get passionate?
Send me the podcast. And the girl said to me, she said, "Wow, like you so believe in what you're saying, right?" And like she was just, you know, complimenting me on my passion, I guess. But I was like, I just don't understand why people aren't willing to do everything. And here's what I believe, and this will sound a little dramatic, but I'll explain it. You need to be willing to die for your dreams.
Yeah, that's right.
And here's what I mean by that, right? People are like, that's ridiculous, that's too extreme. Well, here's the reality. You're already dying for whatever it is you're giving your time and energy to. So what are you dying for? Fucking Facebook? Scrolling and refreshing like it was
she didn't hit you with facts. Kat just got real. Alex, come on up. We're going to pop the champagne on that one. See, Kat got real.
Whatever you are spending your current time on, you're fucking sitting back on the couch eating chips and scrolling on Facebook looking for the meaning of life. That is what you are giving your life for right now. That's what you're dying for. So I'm going to tell you, you need to be willing to die for your dreams. Means be fucking obsessed, be relentless, do whatever it takes, because ultimately you're going to either die for, well, I wasn't ready and it, you know, it didn't feel right and it was like Mercury fucking retrograde or something. And so, oh my God, moons weren't aligned and there was like, you know, no virgin came and gave me a scroll from God to tell me that I'm allowed to make money.
It's so real.
Or you're going to be like, well, this is what my purpose is, this is my destiny, and I just fucking want it. And then if you want it, you will do whatever it takes. And I just think so few people are, like, people will be like, hell yes, and give the love hearts. Give me the love hearts. You know, I like it. And then 99.99% of you fuckers will not do it. You will not do what we did to get here. And I'm not saying that from a place of aggression and trying to talk down to you. It breaks my heart, because if you were just willing to do anything and everything, every single person watching this could get to where they need to go. Okay,
now let's take it. So for those of you who've been following us for a while and shit, you know I'm a big fan of painting the picture, because when you paint a picture, that's when people get emotional. When people get emotional, that's when they take action. And so, Kat, can you bring us down to that,
come back down.
to the, come back down.
Come back down.
I want real low. I want you
Come
to
back
be
down
real
into
low. I was even me up. I want you to talk about like the time where it was hardest for you, where like this whole entrepreneur shit, like, and maybe it was a time of 2 or 3 or 4.
Do you know what? Like a lot of people who've not followed me for long don't know my whole money story and my background, and I'm not going to say that every single person has to go through this big money story and debt thing. They don't, but this is my story. But it helps.
Yeah, it helps.
Well, this is my reality, right? And this is why I do get angry and I get fired up and I get passionate and I get frustrated, because I just think all you need to, like, seriously, success is so fucking easy. All you need to do is be willing to give it everything. And I gave it everything. I ended up over $100,000 in debt, and you know, it's a whole story. But I guess
100K in debt for starters.
I sold my house. I put that money back into my business. I sold my beloved black Audi. I put that money back into my business.
Sold her house, sold her car. What are you doing?
I sold my
now, motherfuckers are mad because they're like, oh, I had to stay up till 2 in the morning last night. That's normal. Like, exactly, that's what it takes.
I sold
my house,
like,
sold car, just saying.
Beautiful little share portfolio. I sold everything I could possibly sell on eBay. I literally, like, I just kept going, and I got further and further and further into debt. And I remember when my daughter was 2 years old, so she's nearly 7 now, she's going to turn 7 next week. When she was 2 years old, and we were at the mall, and she wanted like a gingerbread man treat, you know, like one of those gingerbread men. And it was $2.50. And I yelled at her for asking me for sugar, and she was 2 years old. And it was because I didn't have $2.50 to buy her a gingerbread man.
It wasn't about you, that was about you.
Right, and that's how fucking, like, that's the bottom of the barrel that I scraped. And where it hit ahead for me was, I actually was hired to go and keynote at Australia's largest fitness conference, and because fitness is my background, obviously, and that's where I first made my money online. But I kind of bottomed it all out while I was trying to get myself into full alignment, and I was hired to go and speak on how to make money online as a trainer. And I went and I gave an awesome keynote, if I do say so. And then I went back.
Which means it's true.
I got so many comments and feedback. And then I went back to the car park to get my car out, and I didn't have the $17 to get the car out. And I was literally on there on my banking app, and I had like 6 accounts, and one of them had 84 cents, and one had $2.81. And I can remember it like it was today.
Wait, can we go into the honesty with that? Like, here's a person who just got hired to give the keynote.
Yeah.
And I know so many of you
because
know people who are in front of them.
But I crashed and burned it.
It was so, again, like, people can make income. Doesn't mean they have money, right? And so here she is, like, doing it, and she is earning, but $17 to get out of the fucking parking structure was a real deal after she gets off stage. Think about the humbling that comes with it. The embarrassment now that comes out funny. But yeah, the shame. Yes, like that's it. A lot of people this
shame and brokenness, but also you know what? That was I talk about this all the time when I tell my story or in interviews and stuff. That was what I call my fuck this shit moment. Because firstly, I was in the parking garage, so you don't have any reception, right? So I had to get back in the lift, go back up to ground level so that I could log into my banking app. I log in and I'm like, $2.81 here and 84 cents here, etc. Right? I add it all up and it comes to like, if I transfer literally $2 from one account to the other, it's going to add up to like $15.94, and the parking fee was $17. Wow. I had to call a friend to come and get me out of the car park.
Never forget it either.
I will never fucking forget that. And then I had traveled to go speak at this conference, and I had traveled to my hometown, which is where my parents live. So I drove back to my mum and dad's house where I was staying, and I went on this massive walk. And my second child was newborn at the time. And
second child, this is low key. So all this time, motherfucking babies pop up.
Right. Babies just popping
babies is out there.
Just like that. So I put my newborn son in a stroller. My mum had been babysitting him, and I went on a walk with him, and I walked for an hour, and I was fucking on fire on that walk. I was like a bat out of hell pacing around the neighborhood, and I just stopped in the middle of the path. And I had what I call my fuck this shit moment. I literally came to a stop in the middle of the path, and I was like, fuck this shit. I have followed all the and this is why I'm so like, fuck your pretty website, take it and shove it up your ass. Because I had followed all the rules online to try and brand myself as a business coach or be like a sales and marketing person or something. The thing is, I had built this amazing online fitness business prior to that, which I had built up to nearly $1 million, which is why I was hired for the talk. And I had built that by doing what I do now. I didn't know about internet marketing then. It wasn't a thing. I literally just kind of started talking and saying what I thought and then selling shit, and I built it to nearly $1 million. And then I decided to get serious. And I went and tried to learn about internet marketing, which is how I ended up completely over 100K in debt, nearly went bankrupt, couldn't pay the parking fine, etc. because I was listening to everybody outside of myself instead of just
you
creating
allowed?
content.
You can say if you don't. Can you tell me how much you make now? Because I think it's. I like numbers. Sure. You guys know I like the facts. So if she's 100K in debt, ain't really making nothing, giving keynotes for free. Now here she is in front of you right now. Are you like giving a range or something?
Totally. So last month I did 386K.
She told
this
you.
This month I'm hustling to do my first 500K plus month, and I'm completely in profit, just to be clear, like massively. But more importantly, I'm completely in alignment. And you know what? Like, I could go on and on about this story, but the short version is, all I had to do was make a decision to just follow what's in here and stop trying to follow all the rules and stop trying to worry about how to stand out or how to be the best business coach. Instead of trying to be the best business coach, I decided to be the best Kat fucking Loterzo, and none of you fuckers are going to beat me at that. So.
Oh, you can't. It's impossible.
I've got that niche cornered.
I mean, you guys have to listen to that. Like, it's so real. I think that's what loses it now that we're sitting here in the office and we have our fucking fun shit and there. But like every story, it always comes from like, I was educated then. I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do.
But do you know what? No matter how big that, I would have taken that debt to $1 million fucking dollars. That's what you need to understand. I would have not. It doesn't matter. I would have I actually sat there and I said to myself, what is the worst possible thing that could happen here?
What's that?
I thought that was a food violation.
I do need a Wi-Fi password though. For some reason it kicks me off. Food violation. I need a Wi-Fi password. No, I sat there and I said to myself, what is the worst?
Can Paul have her hook up to the internet? Go ahead. Sorry.
I thought, what's the worst case outcome here? If I just decide to start doing what I want, saying what I want, go back to just being me and stop worrying about the rules of internet marketing, what's the worst case scenario? And for me, quite honestly, the worst case scenario for me personally was that I would have to take my kids and move back in with my parents. That's really not that bad of a scenario. Like, I know that not everybody's that fortunate,
dude,
and I was.
That's such a fucking skill and talent right there, is being able to accept the quote downside.
Right, you have to
moving
be
back in with your parents, living off a fucking friend, like
actually kind of like a nice vacation, and I
right?
did a cook
fuck, like people like that. I think that I truly believe that's the whole key.
But you have, I think, you know what? Like that didn't happen. I didn't end up having to do that, but I would have done that. And I know that some people the worst case is worse,
right? And so once your brain can see, oh, that's the worst thing that can happen. Okay, I can handle that.
Then you can see it exactly. You have to
we deal with this stuff all the time. It's like, you know, people will say like, Billy, if we take your courses and your programs, like in 3 months I have to pay this debt, will I be able to do it? And the first thing I tell them is, fuck no. It's fuck no. I mean, think like, and again, it's happened before. People have done that, but
it's on you.
It's like, and that's why I say, like, I don't fucking know you. Like, first of all, like, any doctor that you talk to, they will happily spend 12 years learning, being in debt to have a skill. But for some,
it's socially acceptable.
It's socially acceptable. And then for some reason, in fucking business, people think like, oh, nope, I need to. If I'm not getting results in one motherfucking week, this doesn't work.
If you don't believe
Since success happens like that, it's fucking insane.
Like, if you don't believe in yourself enough to go do $100K in debt, $1 million in debt, whatever it takes, then don't even fucking get in the game. No. I do not mean that you have to be $100K in debt. I do not mean that. Right. But you need to be willing to go wherever you need to go in order to get to where you have decided to go. And for me, no matter how far along I went into that debt journey and that money shit, at no point did I completely lose faith. I knew I was going to make it. And the first thing I did when I couldn't get my fucking car out of the car park, do you know what I did? I took a screenshot because I said to myself, one day I'm going to tell this story. Right. So even in the depths of my despair, and I was so ashamed and embarrassed, my thought was, I better take a screenshot because when I'm making millions and I'm super fucking successful, I'm going to need to take this story. And I have that in my Dropbox right here.
I mean, that's pretty fucking insane.
Yeah. That's super cool.
Damn. So what questions do you guys have for these two bad asses? Like, they're just on their shit. Like, I love, for me,
I feel like we need to hear more on identity from Regan. Like, nobody speaks identity.
Well,
like,
first of all,
like,
Regan, tell them what do you mean by identity? What does that even mean?
Well, look, identity is just who you're choosing to be and how you're choosing to show up. Because so many people think that.
Well, more importantly, how does that affect your business? Like, a lot of people think, like, as all of us, we're like super content, put out our brand, put out our style, we're all being ourselves right now. Like, everyone's just genuinely being. So, we didn't need to practice before.
We could do this all day with or without the lights.
It doesn't matter.
Like, if we went to lunch, we'd have to
where, what, how,
well, look,
why?
okay, so identity is a missing piece that so many people miss when it comes to money and impact and growing their business, because they think, you know what, I'll become that version when the results show up, right? And they're probably falling into this trap of looking at us and going, wow, you know, I'd love to be like them. You know, once I have their results, then I'll be like them. No. You need to become that version of you first. You know, so many people, and they're like, I can't wait till I make my first $1 million, then I'll be a millionaire. And I'm like, I'm like, you need to become the millionaire first. Yeah. Like, you need to walk, talk, think, and act and dress like that millionaire, and then the money will show up. Like, and that's the thing. People are waiting for the result, but they need to become it first. And you need to really ask yourself, you know, what does that higher version of you, what do they do? What do they think about? What do they talk about? How do they walk? What do they tolerate? What do they not tolerate? Who do they hang out with? Like, all of this is so relevant, but they're waiting for the physical reality to show up when they actually just have to be it first. You can't attract something in that you're not. Totally. You know, so you have to energetically, like, just vibrate at that frequency, knowing that then it will show up. You know, so it's everything.
Well, okay, so someone would ask, how do you get that confidence? Like, I know a lot of people here would ask that.
It's just choice. I don't even think it's confidence. I don't even think.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like,
you embody it. You choose to embody it.
It's just a choice.
But like, is that not a risk for a lot of people? They're sitting out here and they're like, I love to be that. Well,
did you get to where you went without risk?
I mean, that's all we did.
You know what? What I do is every single day.
But no, we didn't do it as risk. We just did it.
Right. Every single day, I'd recommend that you write out who are you, and you write it from a space of calling in the higher version of you. Now, this is not about becoming something you're not. You might go, oh, Regan, but I'm me. I don't want to become something I'm not.
Regan, can you talk to everyone who goes, because there's like I think everyone who's not at the level they want to be is here. Is they say, an exercise like that, I'm gonna write down who I beat. That's fucking corny. That's stupid.
Oh.
I'm not gonna do that. And that's most people, right? Like that, they think the mental game is really like not that big of a deal.
Right.
And it's,
Oh my God.
it's just not a factor.
Try to
So
get
like,
back to
what
writing
would you
a
say to
plan
that?
see how that works out for you.
I would say you're stupid. No, I would say that honestly, you know what? You know when I said I was jumping into personal development, I did like everything, and I was investing in all these courses, and to be honest, for ages nothing was working. I was doing all this stuff, and I was like, far out. Why am I not seeing results? Why am I not actually making any more money? And this mentor of mine, kind of like, I told him, and he laughed at me, and I was like, what the fuck are you laughing at me? Like, I'm telling you, like,
I'm
really
being vulnerable right now.
Right,
You're laughing.
Dude,
What the?
like, and he's laughing, and he's like, oh, Regan. He's like, you've got it all backwards. You're so cute. And I was like, what? And he was like, look, you know, success is 80% psychology and only 20% what you actually physically do in terms of strategy.
Yeah.
He's like, you've got it all backwards. He's like, you're trying to focus the 80% on all the doing, and you're not even doing even the 20% of who you are internally, right? And the minute I actually, because I listened to him and I got that, and I flipped it, and all of a sudden I focused on this stuff, and it takes some faith.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What made it okay to listen to that person? So right now, when you have so many people out on these streets being on the imposter,
Right.
we're not doing that. That's a bomb-ass burger that they brought. We're not doing that right now. But I save that shit. But there's so many people out there who are just like full of hype. How do you know who to follow and who to not follow? How did you know that person that was talking to you was hitting you with the realness?
Look, I think it's very simple. It's you look at the results. It's that simple.
And it's gut as well.
Yeah, and it's feeling. I mean, you know ultimately whether or not you get a good vibe from someone, whether you trust someone, and it is looking at the results. I mean, why would you take advice from someone that's unsuccessful and broke? Like, it's that simple. But if they've created success in some
But it's
level of
crazy
their life-
how many broke people have advice.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's an entire fucking world. Oh my god.
But do you know what was interesting for me?
Well, hold on, and I'm gonna chime in there just because I want to say this because I think we're all victim of this. Your families and your close friends.
Oh, that's a great point.
I think that is your biggest
People
weakness
telling you
because
to be realistic,
their whole
people
lives
telling
and them,
you.
like they've been successful, they raised a family, they got it going on. So all of a sudden, as our family, we love and respect them so much, we want to take everything that they're saying to be true.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to take a step back from the ones you love and objectively say, what are you good at?
Yeah.
Right? So my pops, this motherfucker, he can sell anything. When I still have businesses, like, you know, decisions to make, I'll still call my dad. Because he's so good at selling. He's been in it for 30 years. He taught me what I know. Like, there's so many, like, every sales success I've had is because of him. I'm going to call him for that.
Right.
However, he didn't get a degree in finance. Right? Like, he didn't do that. So I'm not going to my dad about what do I invest money, etc. Because that's not what he does.
Right.
So I think you need to have the honest conversation with yourself of who people in your life really are. Like, outside of what you know of the person you love, what the fuck have they done?
Yeah.
And only go to them for that. And if they're not nice at that, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Right. And it's looking at results and really taking quite an analytical approach on who you trust, to be completely honest. But what was interesting for me when we talk about this whole like 80% mindset and psychology, I remember being in this room with extremely successful people, which funnily enough now I'm close friends with, I'm in business partnerships with, but at the time I was like broke, uni student, in debt, and I was like, what am I doing in this room? Like literally, I was very much like up here, and I was like, wow. But what was interesting is talking to them all, like 30 of these people, they'd all created success different ways. Some was in business, some were doing property, some doing this, some doing that. It was all different. And so I was looking at it going, okay, they've all created a super high level of success, yet they're all doing different things. What's the common denominator here? It's how they think. And it's who they are. And it's how they choose to show up.
I told everyone that. They're like, what did you learn at Frank's? And I'm just like, that other people think like I do. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same conversation.
When you put yourself in an environment with high level people, you're going to elevate by osmosis.
And you realize that, like, this whole rumor of, like, everybody's negative, everybody's broke, everybody, like you see on the elections right now, everybody's struggling, this president's gonna save your day.
Right.
Just, I mean, I get sick, like, when the news is on in the morning, I'm like, why? Why are you even watching that? Like, just why the fuck? We're so lucky to have the internet and be able to go onto YouTube or to jump on the internet and watch this live stream. It's insane.
Yeah, like look, even how we're here. Okay, we did meet in real life, obviously, but that only happened through the internet and through connections. And like we met on Facebook. Yeah. Do you know how we met? Because my husband at the time said, you got to check out this chick. I think she's copying all your content. And he was like,
who the fuck are you? What are you doing?
He was being basically protective of me. And I was like, all right, let me have a look.
So funny.
So I jumped on his Facebook to have a look, and I'm like, wow, she really is saying very similar stuff to me. But no, she's not copying. It's her stuff. So a friend requested her.
It's success. It's what it sounds
like. And then
like.
we ended up being literally 5 minutes apart in Bali
no
at
shit.
the time.
It was weird.
And like, and now we're like entrepreneur best friends, right?
She actually mentioned you earlier, so when you're like, hey, I'm coming down with a friend,
Yeah.
I knew exactly who you were because she talked really highly of you.
Right.
And she said like a whole bunch of bad things, but like,
Oh, yeah,
we'll
well,
say
we don't talk about
yeah,
it.
so it was her. Yeah,
It's just in New Zealand.
Yeah, it was easy. But no, too funny.
It's like, well, she is from New Zealand.
Yeah.
But apart from that, no. But like, I mean, of course, I still have a few close friends that I grew up with and who I have that love for and that history with. But to be perfectly frank with you, the people who I speak with all day are 100% of them, 100%, including even like my personal relationships, not just business related, I met online.
Wow.
And because I think that people like us, or any people, you just find your people, right? Like we form our own bond.
The excuse 20 years ago was it's hard to find. It's hard to be in these groups that are out.
Yeah.
The excuse now is the internet. You can go on the chat and just figure it out.
It's so good now.
You guys want to hear something funny? This is one of the best quotes I've ever heard. I never understood it until later. But for those of you that watch Shark Tank, just type yes in the chat if you watch Shark Tank. I'm sure you fuckers watch Shark Tank, okay? Or Dragon's Den if you're in Canada, or Dragon's Den if you're in the UK. Like, it was the same thing. These were big shows. But Kevin O'Leary did an interview, and someone asked him, was like, dude, how do I get in touch with someone like you or whatever, like, or another influencer? And he said, very simple. You pay them.
Yeah.
And at first, when I heard that was in a time and place, well, how can I afford that? And it was kind of like, dude, you're not ready to have a conversation.
Manifestation. They're like, how? What's the plan? How?
Right.
No, just lock it in.
Exactly. You just gotta pay them, and then you find a way to get there, and it totally makes sense. And so now, when I can pay, and I link up with people like Kat, and then we're all three here together, it's like it totally makes sense. Like you know, like. But
that's a great point, because part of the reason that I knew that I was going to go to Frank's was not just to be in that room, in that environment, but quite honestly, I wanted to be on his radar. And I will pay to be on his radar, for sure, 100%. And I've done like high-level stuff with so many different people where, of course, I know I'm going to be inspired and learn cool shit, but I'm just going to be on their radar as well, right?
Yep.
For sure.
And then I'm going to meet other high-level people as well. And it's like, people, it astounds me that people sit there and think, I want to be where you are or where whichever person is, but they're not willing to act accordingly. You need to act. Here's a little nugget. You need to act. Take it. You need to act as the person you want to be, not the person you think you're being right now.
Ooh. And someone else said something like you need to, if you're trying to attract a certain audience, be that customer. Right? So, for example, if you only want customers who never complain, they're super good, they actually do what it wants, they pay full time, but then you're not that motherfucker. It's like, what are you doing? Matter of fact, to that, Taylor or Paul, Brandon, who's ever downstairs, can we bring up another round? I think it's time to take another round.
Alright, I'm going to go use the bathroom.
Yeah, I need to where is that actually?
Should we rotate? So we'll go
One
to...
thing I was going to say, it's important in terms of showing up as that version of you. If you're going out and you're trying to charge high rates but you've never invested high rates in people, it's like you can't do that. How are you putting out 10k offers if you've never spent more than 10k?
That's so funny you say that, because I was like, alright, I paid 18k for an event, but now I'm like, I know what an 18k event looks like and what I need to deliver, because I sat in one, I experienced one, and I understand the group dynamic.
Authentically, right?
So,
and that's the difference.
What's up?
Are you eating shots?
Yeah, shots. This is Alex, everybody. Alex, say hi. There's camera 3 over there. There's camera 2 over there. And then there's cameras 1, 0, -1 over there. Ours, Paul, if you want to do a little wrap through. Yeah, we're running back. It's going back.
What are we talking about? And like you can't charge stuff that you haven't invested in yourself.
I wanted to learn more about alignment, only because I've heard you say it quite a few times now.
Yeah.
And I like, if you could kind of summarize it for everyone, what does that mean?
Okay, it's very simple, and probably the easiest way for me to explain it is to explain when you're out of alignment, because because I think a lot of, like 90% of people exist out of alignment, right? So when you're out of alignment, it's very simple. It's when what is on the inside of you and your deepest truth and desires is not lining up to what is showing up externally. So whatever you're creating, like for example, when I was at university going, oh, I'm getting all these good grades and, you know, studying to be an architect and all this stuff externally was showing up, it wasn't in alignment with my truth of how I wanted to impact the world.
How did you know what your truth was?
I didn't, but this is the point. It felt bad. It felt funny. It felt like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff and I should be super happy and I'm getting good grades, but it doesn't feel good. And when I think about my future, it doesn't feel good. And that's the sign that you're out of alignment. I mean, alignment is not a difficult thing. It's simply, does it feel good? Does it not? Right? So
it's very similar to happiness. Like, are you happy doing what you're doing?
It's very simple, right? And you literally, if you want to figure out, okay, because people always say, well, how do I know how, you know, if I'm in alignment daily and how do I make choices around that? You simply lock in what you want. Like, what is your big picture reality?
I have a question for you.
Yes. You want to hear me how to do this? Or no?
No, I do, but like cutting you off in between. Because you're spinning so many fireballs, it's like I have to capture that moment.
Yeah,
I think a lot of our audience, and probably your audience too, agrees with what you're saying. And I think a lot of them have that feeling in their stomach right now this second.
Sure.
But also, the first steps of entrepreneurship have that same feeling of...
No, it's different.
Okay,
it's different.
So let's hear that.
So there is a difference between doing something that's out of alignment with your truth, and there's a difference between just acting in spite and doing something that's uncomfortable. That is in alignment. Okay, and there is a difference between being in alignment and being freaking uncomfortable and acting anyway, and then there's a difference between acting and having it being totally out of alignment. And it's honestly a feeling thing. The only way I can describe it is the one that's in alignment feels kind of uncomfortable and scary, but you do it anyway because you know it's getting you to where you want to be, versus feeling heavy and drained and like, oh, I have to do this stuff, and you know it's not getting you to the big vision. Like they're two different feelings.
I was gonna say there's so many questions behind this. Let me go here. Do you want to sub down? She's back.
I will.
We're
talking on alignment.
Alignment, everybody. You guys need to get the fuck
Am I
on
just going
board.
straight downstairs?
Yeah, they'll help you downstairs once you go down. Yeah. Let's see. John says, can also barter. I have a deal with an influencer and will be grooming for free for a year in exchange. They come to have post/review us, and each time they come in, sure. In other words, what he's saying is, I don't have money to pay people who are influencers, but I'm going to give something else of value to get that done. That's totally cool. That's called making it happen.
Yeah.
Let's see. Corey says, that's actually a great point. You can't charge a lot if you've never paid a lot.
Yeah,
plus putting the investment. I think that's like such a fucking huge quote.
It's a huge point. I don't understand how people don't know that.
Yeah, that's a fantastic one. We should say that in like all scripts. Let's see. This girl's channeling her inner Deepak Kapoor. Do I know?
Deepak. You don't know who Deepak is? Oh my God! You call yourself a personal development?
Fuck! No, I mean I'm on the strategy side. Ew.
Deepak Chopra is like a spiritual guru leader type person.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
is that an Indian guy?
He's super famous.
Oh, I knew that. I'm gonna play it off right now. Yeah,
I don't actually know what his content is, but I know that he's a famous person.
You're aware of him.
I'm aware of his existence.
Let's see, Corey. Can we look up? Some people got questions on here. Hold on, I'm missing stuff. Michelle says the book "What to Say When You Talk to Yourself" by Shad Helmstetter.
Yeah,
that teaches exactly how to do
like
this.
A cool book. I like the title. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, don't dream it, be it, Arlene, and then I can scroll back up and there's a bunch of stuff. But I would rather dive back in. If you guys have questions, just ask. So then when I come to those moments, I will come back up to you guys. And one thing that I would say, oh, got you. So they have their whole live streams too. So okay.
I don't know. The Wi-Fi keeps kicking me off, so I don't know if I can.
Has it been all funky?
It's just kicking me off.
What I would tell everybody here too is one thing that I see a lot of people do is have moments like this because the internet makes somebody available and not taking advantage of them. I think it's just like school where the teacher has office hours and then you show up and say, all right, how can you help me? As opposed to the student who comes with questions. I think that person is always going to get more out and be able to produce more as a result of that. So what I'm implying right now is if, you knew we were coming on, you don't have questions, you're fucking up.
But will you be that like 100,000 people could watch this and like a lot of them could be like, yeah, and then one person or maybe like 5 people will actually take action on what we spoke about.
I have a great question for you, especially both of you guys being on the personal development side. So someone watches this and a lot of people will be inspired by what you guys accomplished, the conversation, etc. what should they do next?
That's a good question.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, I just watched, I'm hyped up, I'm ethered up. What the fuck should I do?
The very first, that's a great question, I love it. The very first thing that I would do is I would sit down alone with a pen and paper journal, like fucking old school, or if you must on your computer, but there's something powerful about pen and paper. And I would write in, I don't care how often you've done this, I would write out again, lock in, what do you actually want? It's astounding to me how many people are like hustling and trying to take action, and they have some vague idea that they want to make money online or make $1 million bucks, but if you ask them what their exact specific vision is, they're like I can tell you to the dot on the I what my vision is, and that's the reason I keep achieving it. So the very first thing to do is to get clear and specific on where it is that you're actually wanting to go. You're very unlikely to get to where you want to go if you don't know where it is.
And
I mean,
just,
it's the thing,
and
right?
double piggybacking off that, like, you guys are here right now, like, in our office. So right now, we're in this studio. And then if they were to switch cameras, she's going to come back, and then I'll come back and finish. But what I'll tell you guys in short is this entire office that we're in right now was made up in my head.
There you go, vision.
It was
Everything's always in your head.
It was fake. It was like not a real thing.
In the vision, and then it happens. But even us being here, even me coming in and Regan and I coming in, like Billie Jean and I spoke about that, right, when we met at Frank's, but it's still an idea, right? For
That's
this
right.
to actually come to life. I mean, I came from Australia, right? So it wasn't like exactly like, hey, just pop in tomorrow.
I came from Mars.
Yeah, no, you don't exist. Remember? Yeah, you don't actually exist. So it was a vision and it was an idea, but the only way that it came to life, and that we have this amazing setup and these incredible pictures that Billy and his team have put together, and everything is just working, is because we actually nailed down the specifics of that vision and really looked at, okay, what do we want to make happen? Exactly how does it look? What's that one for?
Do you have a USB over there?
No, this one doesn't have a USB. Oh no, if you pass me my laptop case, that's right there. The skinny one. Yeah, that one's got a connector, a USB connector in it.
Why are my
Yeah,
comments
I
not?
don't know,
My
it's
comments
not
aren't
working.
showing up online.
Because we're in the corner.
Okay, so here we go. We can put it on USB this way. So pop in your questions, guys, while we're just setting up our gear here. Any questions at all that you have?
My
Any of
questions
the
aren't
three
showing
of
up
us?
on this side. That's
no,
really
it's okay.
strange.
You just connected it with cable.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hardwire.
Perfect.
Do
Thank
you
you.
hardwire yours?
We have internet back.
We
have internet. Okay, so the only way that we ended up here and doing this amazing broadcast with this cool as fuck setup is because we didn't just have a vague idea that it would be cool to hang out. We locked down the specifics of the vision.
But it is cool to hang out.
Of course it's cool to hang out. But right before you came back, we were talking about what is the first action people should do after they watch this live stream. And I said the very first thing you should do is lock down your vision and get clear on where you want to go, because if you don't know where you want to go, you're probably not going to get
No,
there.
you're definitely not going to get there.
Yeah. So, what else? What else should people do once they've watched this live stream? We don't want it to just be like, hell yeah, you guys, that was awesome. We want you to actually take it and run with it and implement it.
Right, so you need to lock in that big vision, and then the next thing you need to do is you simply need to ask, well, who do I need to become in order to create that vision right now? So you need to start asking yourself, what is that higher version of me? What is that identity? What is that version of me that is acting from the space as if this is already done, right?
Yeah.
And you need to simply ask yourself and get into detail on this. What does that version of me think? What do they believe to be true? What do they believe about wealth? What do they believe about success and abundance? What do they believe about failure? What do they believe about who they should hang around each and every single day? What do they tolerate in their life? What is their minimum standard? What do they not tolerate in their life?
But it's even like, how do they dress? How do they hold their
Everything.
posture?
How do they walk? How do they
take care of
talk?
themselves? What time does that person get up in the morning? Are they fucking snoozing their way through the day, or are they getting up and taking action?
Right.
Every single element.
And then it's very simple. You simply go, okay, cool. If the vision was done and locked in and super clear and in total alignment with my truth and what I want, and if I was already acting from that space of that version of me that knew it was done, what would I be doing right now? And then you'd go do it. It's that simple.
That's exactly right. And you know what else? This is not a one-time thing to do, you guys. This is not like, cool, I looked in my big vision, now what? Well, you need to keep doing that every single day, because the more that you can see what you want up here, the faster it's going to come to life in a physical sense. I really like to, I fully believe, and I like to say that every single thing I have in my physical life, whether it's my income, whether it's my friends, whether it's like my fucking, purse that I carry around, or my relationships, or my energy, my fitness, every single thing, is just something that already existed in here.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was already a done deal, and I already actually created it, and then the physical representation of it appeared because it had to, because I already made it in here.
Right.
So it was already like a total no-brainer and a done deal.
Yeah.
But the physical side appeared.
So Sandra says, help me. I've got 3 businesses per apps, 2 of them are already working, but I'm stuck. I like energy to push more on the 3rd one on the market as well as boosting my one. What's your advice, Sandra?
So 3 different businesses.
She's got 3 different businesses that are apps, I believe. 2 are working, and she's lacking energy to keep driving them, basically.
So here's the thing. I can only speak knowledgeably from what I've done and what I personally believe. So I don't feel like it's impossible to have multiple different businesses. I guess that's possible in theory, but I can't logically or personally in integrity give advice on it, because I personally believe that the business is me, the brand is me, and I might have different elements. Like I have like activewear that I'm designing at the moment, which is completely like a whole different separate thing to what I currently make my money from, and my online brand now. So in some ways you could go, that's a different business. Now you're making activewear, and then you're going to make stationery, and then I have fitness products online, and I have business products online. But it's actually all the same business, because it all comes under the banner of my personal brand, Kat Loterzo. And so I don't have that problem with going, shit, now I have to focus on business number 1, then 2, then 3. To me, that seems really weird and kind of restrictive, and it feels like quite hard work to me. It's like if I would say, okay, well, I'm going to try and look after my fitness, and then I compartmentalize and look after my business, and then my relationship.
Okay, so but if you were coaching someone, and if they were a serial entrepreneur and they had different businesses all in different industries, and they felt overwhelmed and that they were lacking energy a little bit to bring all the separate visions to life under that one core, what would your advice be?
I would look at the higher vision. I would need to find out what is the higher vision, where does it all join together at the top. I'm not going to coach somebody on how to separate and segment their life.
Right.
I'm going to dig deep with them, because I guarantee there will be some way to connect it all together. And also, I'll dig deep with them to find, well, okay, cool, you've got this, and then you've got this, and then you've got this. What is it that connects all of that together?
Yeah.
And then looking at that and coming from that place, how can we then, in alignment, take care of all of these different things?
And it comes down, again, to the choice of really who are you and who are you choosing to be in each and every single day, right?
Exactly. It does. And then that way, in alignment every single day, you can look not at, oh my God, how do I make time for this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing. Instead, it can be, well, if I'm looking at my higher vision, like the big overall picture of what I want, what is therefore the correct place to spend my energy, and what, where should I put my attention right now?
Right, exactly.
I'm back.
He's back.
Woo!
Can I go look at the comment that's over there? I want to go look at what is that. I see a big ass comment on my live stream.
Kat's going to read a comment. Do you want to read it aloud?
Well, no, I just want to read it to myself.
No, read it aloud.
Okay. Oh, hi. Annette says, oh, I like it. Okay. What if everything you've done is just not bringing you the money you need? At what point do you say that maybe this is not cut out for you? How far in debt do you need to get before you give up? Or is that just part of the journey? What if every action taken just brings very little results? I've been doing this for 4 years with thousands spent on coaching mentors, but unfortunately no success. Ooh, what do you guys say about that?
I have a short before Kat jumps in.
You guys go ahead.
I would say you really identify, if you've been at it for a long time, and this is hard, you have to have a really, really honest conversation with yourself about what you're good at and what you're not good at.
Yeah.
And maybe the entrepreneur thing is for you, but maybe you suck at sales. Maybe you suck at finance. Maybe you suck at something, and you realize you got to find a partner.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're either most of the time it's probably you're just unwilling to get good or do the things necessary to succeed at the part that's really clutching your business. I would say that.
It could definitely be that. What's your take?
It's definitely valid. I mean, it's definitely valid. There's definitely things that I'm not good at, which make my multi-7-figure business grow rapidly, because I have other people that have bought it as team and as partners. So I totally get that. But look, I would be having a really deep conversation as well around, what do you believe about success and what do you believe to be true? Because if you believe ultimately that it has to be a struggle, if you believe that you have to get millions of dollars in debt in order to succeed, if you believe that you have to break down in order to break through, then that will be your truth, right?
Awesome.
So I've got into debt and I've done stuff, but it hasn't been super extreme, I'll be honest. I mean, I have a story where I literally had all of my money wiped out of my account by a business partner. I had $8 in my account, and then I got kicked out of my apartment that I was living in, and I slept on my friend's couch for 3 weeks. So, I mean, I've been there, I get it, but at the same time, that was my bottom kind of tolerance. That was like, okay, I refuse to tolerate any less than that because of what I believe to be true about success. People say to me, well, Regan, you know, how quickly can I get results? And I'm like, well, how quickly do you choose to get results? What do you believe? Do you believe that change happens in an instant? Do you believe that the instant you decide something is done, it's going to freaking manifest?
Hard work.
You know, do you believe that it takes hustle and hard work and struggle? Because if you believe that to be true, then that will be a reality. So I think you need to take a good hard look at, well, okay, here's my reality right now. What belief system has actually got me to this place? And if I was to honor that and appreciate it because it's got me here, but then make some changes, what would be different? You know, that's what I'd be doing.
Oh, that's kind of hot. I like how 30 grand.
That's what I'm doing.
You're getting a little taste. You're getting a little taste. Before we continue, I think it's only fair to you guys and to us that we take a shot. I think it's only
Feeling the shot.
Out of control.
and as you guys saw, when you first came in, it was probably getting warm, and then we're like, okay, keep it a little more real. Now we take another shot. Give it a little more real.
And we still haven't eaten.
Now it's just honest.
Cheers.
Honest.
Cheers.
I gotta admit,
I
I did take a couple bites of stuff already downstairs.
Bring that burger up. Get the burger.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Mine's not gone, let's be honest. I cheated.
Cheating. Not fair.
Joseph says, Billy, I'm in Genie.
But I will edit in here.
How many fully created campaigns do you typically send before you get a client to take you up on a free day of marketing? Joseph, that's a great question to how good are you at sales, right? So like, it almost makes me uncomfortable saying out there what it would take me because, especially at this time, like, this is what I do, right? I don't think there's many people in the entire world that exist on this planet that can bring someone customers faster than I can. So for me to
Can I
convince
make a point on that, just really quickly? Because, you know, people jump in and they're like, oh, Billy, you know, what's working for you? Like, tell me what you're doing, right? People go, oh my gosh, Oprah's doing this, I'm going to do that. And Tony Robbins does this, so I'm going to go do that. But they don't look at where they started. Right? They don't look at where and what they did when they were starting out. So the question isn't what is working for Billy now. The question is, what did you do when you were building your empire from the ground up? What did you do then? Because that's what's going to get them there, not what's here. Because your journey, you're so far evolved that they're trying to tap into a different place.
Well, I'll tell you this: it was probably the fact that I didn't track how many yeses or no's it took to get a yes. I just kept going until I got a yes.
Right.
So my short answer is like, just fucking make it happen. If it takes you 300 and it took me 100, irrelevant.
Right.
Right? If you end up at the same destination, whatever.
So
it may, you know what I'm saying? It's so fucking irrelevant. So like, I don't even give you my numbers because then you're just trying to compare to or from what works for you based on the skill set that you know that you have. What's the expectations you have for yourself?
And comparison is such a trap. Like if you end up going, here's what I should do because this worked for this person and this person's doing that. I mean, it's irrelevant. Again, come back to what I said around manifestation, right? Us two were talking about it when you left. It's like, okay, lock in this outcome, simply act from the space as if it's done, and then ask yourself, well, what would that version of myself be doing right now? And that's going to be different than what all of us are doing because all of your visions are different to our vision. If you were our twin and you had the same vision, it would make sense for us to be, here are the 7 things. But it's not. It's entirely different. Your vision is different. So you need to actually not figure out what are the secret steps. The secret is how do we figure out the steps. That's where the goal is.
She's exactly right. And take an addition, like this company, I said it earlier, I alluded to it a little bit, but I'll kind of dive in a little bit deeper. But like every single thing that's happening with the company is 100% was just a thought.
It's all just a thought.
It's all, like that's what like, I think is the craziest thing to me is like there's no structure to this. It's like I wanted to do X, so I did it, and this is what it took to get there.
Right.
So here's what we did to get there. It's not real. None of it's real.
None of it's real.
It's only real to you, make it real, right?
None of this is real. Either.
No.
It's all a fucking illusion.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is when you understand you're in control of the illusion, you get to play. Like, and that's the beautiful thing.
Here's one other thing I want to say about all this, like this concept of I'm already trying and it's not working and I'm doing everything. Like everything you guys said is so on point, and I fully agree with all of it. And one additional thing that I want to add is, are you being fucking honest about what you're supposed to be doing? Can you hand on your heart say that the stuff you're trying to sell, that you are the best person in the world to teach that. I 100% believe that I am the best in the world at what I teach, and what I teach, if I have to sum it up in one sentence, is alignment and ass kickery. I firstly invented the fucking word ass kickery, so
it's definitely made up. I've not heard it before.
Right? Exactly. I trademarked it.
So don't steal it.
No, you can just because I thought it was
I dare
cool.
you.
Because it's
cool.
cool and funny, but you can say it.
I need to add though as well, you know, what mindsets are you tolerating? Because if you're sitting here writing, oh, you know, this stuff isn't working and this and that, regardless of where you're at, you know, why are you tolerating that mindset? Okay, I'll give you an example. Kat and I are scaling our empires individually, separately to $100 million right now. Okay, that's minimum. That is the big goal, right? But if she rang me and was like, Regan, like, it's just not working, like, it's just not showing up fast enough, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Are you sick? Like, you need to shut the fuck up and hang up the phone. Like, neither of us would tolerate. It just would not happen. Like, that's an extreme, made-up example.
I can't even imagine it.
But here's the point: it would never happen.
No.
It would never happen. It would be like, okay, this is going on, whatever, but it's done. It's done, and we're moving forward.
And also, too, like, goals are always progressive. Like, if you guys follow us, like, you know, last week or 2 weeks ago, my buddy Chris Record came in. He said the same thing. It's $100 million, you know, goal for him.
Right.
But, like, none of him, like, Chris, when he started with, like, negative money in his account, he was, like, you know, asking people to buy him coffee. It was never a goal to have $100 million. Like, obviously, like, he believed in his heart, just like you do right now. It was possible, but like, it was fucking mindset. Some people believe
it's like, why are you tolerating? It's not working. Because if we tolerate it, it's not working.
You can't afford to think like that. You just, I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't have doubt or share our communication with each other, right? It's not like living in a fantasy world. It's just, here's what I think. Engaging in thoughts like it's not working and what if I never get there, etc. That is self-indulgent.
Okay,
that's what I think.
If Frank Kern was here right now and us three were on the live stream and Frank was talking about scaling to 100 million.
Remember when Frank threw the weed at me?
Oh, let's speak on this.
Okay, if Frank was here, if we were to switch seats, right, and Frank was with whatever people, and we were on the live stream, and Frank was talking about how to scale to 100 million, we would not be writing, but Frank, it's not working right now. I'm only at 10 million right now. It's not working. Like, it just.
Do you know what people do? And then he'll just be like, oh, okay.
I think the most honest thing is just like whatever you think is the truth. And it sounds so cliche. It sounds so like whatever, but it's just like for a reason. There's true. Just like stereotypes are true to reason. But like it's like whatever the fuck you believe is true. So if right now you believe that you can't get clients and the system you're using isn't working, it's a fact. If you think you can fucking dominate, it's a fact.
I think people need to be honest with themselves about what they're actually called to do. I think a lot of people who are hustling and like quote unquote doing the work are trying to be somebody who they are not supposed to be. They're either trying to replicate or duplicate what somebody else is doing and they're like, if I do that I'll make money, or they're just not being honest with themselves about their calling. You need to be able to sit there and go, I 100% know that nobody can speak about this topic in the way that I can, and I have to speak about this
now,
because if I
let's talk
say
about
it,
that.
somebody else is nobody's going to hear it.
To get to the point that Kat's talking about, what does it take? Practice. On like a ridiculous habit, like process, fucking studying, reading books all the time. Like, those are being fucking relentless. So again, like people always say, like, you know, like what's like, how do I do this? Is like they say, I'm Billy. I have this dentist who wants to give me money for running an ad campaign. What do? I say, you don't take him on as a client. Because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
Like, it's just very simple.
Exactly.
You get better at your skill before you go out and start selling shit. So, like, I hate when I get that question. I have this client down and I want you. What the fuck are you doing taking money from them? What are you doing? You don't, like, you're not there yet. And that's okay. Like, no one fucking exudes patience.
Right.
You gotta learn this shit. Like, it's not, like, you guys hear them and you're like, oh, I can say shit. Like, if you really pay attention, you rewatch this shit to what they're both saying. It's fucking massive, and it's also learned. It's a skill. It's a process. It's the same. Like, it's not just fucking mumbo jumbo.
No, on what you just said, there's power in saying no. Like, there really is. So many people go, I'm just gonna say yes to everything. When it's like, no. Sometimes to stay in alignment, you have to say no. You've got to say no to clients. You've got to say no to deals. You've got to say no to opportunities. You've got to say no to showing up places, right? And it's what we talked about, that difference between, is that a no because I'm saying no because I'm scared and I'm uncomfortable, versus a no because, no, this isn't in alignment with me right now, right? And if you do that, you're actually going to call in more of what
Well, here's fun. Keith says, I disagree with this.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay,
Keith,
brilliant.
you want to fight? You,
Yeah, all right.
Keith, like, you guys used to me being like, fuck you, they don't come gangster. Like, this is,
Oh, that's all he said.
you don't, like, Keith.
It's not a valid comment.
Well, he can bring it back.
Who knows
Keith,
when the hell that comment
like, Keith, I encourage you
More
to say
okay.
something because
It could
they,
have come up any moment.
they're going to really go in.
Do you know what? We disagree with you.
No, he disagrees
So-
with my lipstick. He could have been disagreeing with any point in time.
But it was recent. It was the most recent comment. He just typed it. So
Yeah,
I
but
watched
he
it.
needs
So
to
I think
hurry up
he
and
was
tell
on the
us what
same.
he disagrees
So
with.
Keith, if you'd like to talk about it,
Probably
good.
also need to see
But-
the results.
And here's the truth:
To
is
take
Keith,
it
whatever you think is right. So if you disagree with it, and you just can never be
You
successful.
are
Okay.
absolutely welcome to believe whatever you want to believe.
Mhm,
Whether you think, do you know what?
Oh, here we go.
It's that.
Ooh.
I started my business taking work I knew nothing about and then learned what I needed to do to deliver or hired an expert to do it. Well, the person that I think would be the ones to really evaluate how you did are the people whose money you took when you really didn't know what you were doing.
Right.
So, I mean, you can say all you want about it. It's a circular conversation,
That's
right? But I can promise you something, that at the end of the day, Keith, what you learned now, as like sounds like you've been doing it for a while now, is probably a lot better than what you did know. So, and if you're charging the same price or anywhere close to, then what were you really doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you may have been giving a lot more value
I
than.
just think the fast, like really, making money is easy. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
And that's a belief. And that's a choice.
That's a
And,
belief.
wait, hold on, and going
But
here
you
too.
need to be fucking honest.
Yes.
Because I know that when I try to sell something, which I don't do anymore, but in days gone by, I used to try and sell stuff because I was like, this might make me money. This will be a good
Yeah.
product
Like
from the product
transfer.
idea, right? And it's just bullshit, and it's also not as fun. So making money is easy, so long as you're fucking honest with yourself.
And you actually help
You
people.
do the work, you're doing work that you 100% know you can help people get a result with.
Okay, and this is fun. So I love this. Keith says, all happy customers, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. So what Keith is saying is that he took on people before he really had the skill set, so to speak. And I get it to an extent, but at the same time, I believe in a golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. And would you really want someone selling you something when they weren't really sure of what they're able to deliver? And I think 1,000% of us could. 1,000% of us could. No, like, I'm sorry, Keith. Like, you can't argue with that. Like, treat others how you fucking want to be treated. Like, I don't want someone telling me they're a fucking professional when they've never done it before. So it's
I mean, I'm sorry, but that's bullshit.
It's fucking bullshit.
It's not,
it's 1,000%.
Like, to me, that's not in
It's
integrity.
1,000%.
You need
It's
to sell the shit that you 100% in your heart know that you can help people
Right.
with. Now, okay, it doesn't mean that you need to be fully evolved on your own journey. You're also you're still on your own journey.
But just, if you're honest, it's okay. It's okay not to be the best. It's, hey, Mr. Customer, I've done this training so far. I think I can bring you results. I'm not sure. So as a result, I'm going to charge you a discounted rate to make it fair. Still going to pay for my time, and let's make this happen together. Get practice, just like doctors don't just start at the top of the food chain. They have many surgeries.
I'm a surgeon now.
Yeah, exactly. They've saved many lives, and that's what it is. Kat's got something for
Alright,
us.
I got something here from Nicole. She says, hey everyone, this one may be a difficult question to answer and perhaps I should know, but I'm going to ask anyway. I have many interests. I'm struggling a bit to find my true passion. How did you guys know when you found your passion and true calling and identified your vision? I know I'm on this earth to do amazing fucking things, but I haven't identified it yet. I haven't figured out a niche. Can you guys speak to that?
Can I start it? Can I start it?
Go, bring it.
Okay, I'm going to start it.
I love it. I love the question. I love the
Here's what I
question because
say.
I felt that way a long time.
Okay, so I was living in my buddy's house, and he was letting me stay there for free. He's actually here today. And I was up on the internet one night, and I found a book. It was written by Mark Cuban. You guys all know who Mark Cuban is. It's the shark.
I
Shark
saw his
Tank.
house. Ryan
Yeah.
Freeman took me by his house in Dallas.
was
it was
it fucking
badass.
sick?
It was fucking massive.
He's the guy. So I was reading it, and then he's like I found a lot of like similarities in our stories. And he said, like, you know, I knew it was what I wanted to do because I would be able to stay up till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, look up the clock, and not realize how much time has passed by. That was the ultimate tell, because then I noticed, like, when I was video editing and like I was marketing for companies, I got to use all these criticize my brains. I knew, like, dude, I'm a fucking marketer. I love the sales, I love the talking, I love the creativity, I love, like, you know, seeing how people, like, what they respond to, what persuades them, what are the analytics of a campaign. That became my passion because I can literally do this shit as we're doing it right now, like, all fucking day. To me, that was the short answer for that. I think Mark
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
You want me to answer? Alright.
She's ready to go. Alex, can we pop a champagne? Alex, can we pop a champagne? Oh, yeah.
When is the food coming?
Yeah, let's get into it. We'll order.
Just in case I start to feel too drunk, I've got my jerky.
Well, we can fill it out. We can fill it out. So I was like, we're going to go to lunch at this place, University Club, which is really fucking tight. It's like the best place ever.
Bring it.
It's fantastic. But if we want to keep live streaming, we can just bring you guys food. What do you want to do?
Yeah, whatever. Whatever's good. I want to answer this question.
Well, she's in passion.
Yeah, right,
We're in passion and in flow, so we have no.
I forgot what the question was. What was the question?
We are opening the
question was like,
champagne.
how do you know, right, when you're tapped into your purpose?
Okay, so the question. Let me just check this question again because I love this question and I think it's really important and I think it speaks to a lot of people. So she says, I have many interests, but I'm struggling to find my true passion. How did you know when you found your true passion and identified your vision? And this is what relates to me. She says, I know I'm on this earth to do amazing fucking things, but I'm not sure what. And I totally feel that because that's how I felt forever.
Totally. Yeah, okay. I think there's so many different points in here. Look, I think where you need to start is really asking yourself the right questions first. So if you ask yourself powerful questions, you're going to get powerful answers, and we're going to pop some champagne.
Okay. I didn't want to like interrupt you.
Oh, hey!
Do you guys have champagne glasses?
No, we have food downstairs. Sorry, you're the best.
So if you start asking yourself, you know what is my what is my passion, what is my truth, what is my ultimate purpose? And if you were to answer that from a space of being totally raw and real and unfiltered and not caring, how am I going to do this, or what are people going to think, or what does that look like, or I don't know, like if you just to park all that stuff, and you can leave it parked because you don't want that back anyway. So if you just park that and then answer that, like some amazing stuff can show up, right? And I think the other thing to know is that when you know, like when you're acting from the space of alignment, like we were talking about, it feels good. But I think you have to be okay with the feeling that it's never going to feel finished. I think people are looking for this feeling of completion. Like it's kind of going back to school. Like I've written my report and I've handed it in and now I got a grade, so now it's done. So here's my purpose and here's my passion and now what do you think, guys? And it's like, no. Like you're ever evolving, right? We're humans, we're souls. We're going to keep shifting and our message will shift and like everything will continue to evolve. So how can you try and complete something when it's never going to be done? Do you know what? It'll be done when you freaking leave this earth. Right? So you need to be okay with going, here's my
purpose. Because you will have created a legacy because you actually did what you were called to do.
And you need to be okay with going, well, here's my purpose now. And you know what? In 10 years' time, I know it's going to be freaking huge. I don't know what my purpose and my passion is going to be in that time. I can't define that. I don't have a crystal ball. I know it's going to be freaking massive and impacting millions of people, but I'm happy to flow with it. And that's the difference. People are trying to control it and analyze it and get all the answers and feel complete and finished, whereas like you just need to let that shit go.
And I think that's fantastic.
You're never finished, you're never done.
No, and I think a great way to start is just literally stepping back, take a step back and say, how can I help people?
Right.
And whatever that is, whatever the first thing that came to your mind was, I'm good at blank, start there. And let it kind of evolve because...
Can I answer that though? Because I see people get caught in a trap though. I see people get caught in this
champagne situation.
Get a lot of spillage. You, Taylor, it's just, there's spillage in there.
Best live stream ever.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say I'm giving you full credit for the best live stream ever.
Boom! There it is. And it matters.
I see people get caught in this trap of trying to do what they think they should do because they see an opportunity. Right. And I think that can pull them away from their purpose.
Rather than what are you called to do.
Right, so I think you're right, but I think the first question to ask is, what do I want to do? Like, what am I about? What is my purpose and passion? And if I could get paid for just being me, doing what I love, what would that look like? And from that space, how can I help people? Because people jump in and they're like, oh, like right now, I could be like, how can I help people? Okay, I know how to sell. Okay, I'll do sales training. I can't think of anything worse than running sales training.
Oh my god.
Fuck that. Seriously, that would be my nightmare. But I could do that. I could monetize that. I could build multiple million dollars.
I think what a lot of people are surprised of what people will pay for. So like my passion outside of all of this, you guys, is a lot of people know it's fucking Xbox. They see it. I got an Xbox right there with the TV, right? Like it's a minute left. Is there not? But like real, is there not a video game station right there?
Oh
just
my god,
for that?
Super Mario Kart videos.
I'm fucking all kinds of shit, right? That's what I love to do, right? But at the same time, I realize that there's other things that are important to me,
Right.
not just playing video games, like providing for my family, being able to impact the world, being able to donate and influence masses.
Right.
Like, it's going to be a lot more challenging to do as a result of just playing Xbox. Therefore, like, I'll include it into my life right now. So, for example,
funny.
some of you here have seen me literally teach an entire lesson while playing Xbox. How was that created? I just made it up. I wanted to play Xbox and I wanted to look nice.
I love that because so many people feel like they have to be like professional.
No.
No.
Guys, what am I wearing right now? Basketball shorts and a fucking
What are
t-shirt.
you doing right now?
We're drinking. You know what I mean? We're talking
We're
like
working
this.
extremely hard. Thank you very much.
Serious business.
Very
All made up.
serious
Yeah.
position
Okay,
right now.
but this, like what you were saying just before really spoke to me because this morning when I was writing my journal, like one of my daily processes in my journaling is writing out ideas, and so I chose today to write ideas for products and sales offers essentially, and I was like, ooh, I could, like what you were saying, like, ooh, I know sales, so I should teach sales. I started writing out, I could totally do a done-for-you funnel and marketing offer for like $60K to do somebody's funnel for them because I know how to fucking work a funnel.
Yeah.
My funnel makes a shitload of money. Yeah. And as soon as I wrote it, I was like, whoa.
But you told me that
Imagine
months
having
ago.
to do that.
You were like, I could write copy for people, and I was like, Kat.
I am brilliant at copy. I'm a great
That's
copywriter.
amazing. I can
But
teach
it's
people how
because
to
I'm
sell.
writing what I'm passionate about.
Yeah,
And so as soon
exactly.
as I wrote it, I
But
wish I
that's
had
you
my
just
journal here to show
realizing
you.
why you like it.
I
That was an exercise
I
for
literally did like a big cross through it in my journal and I wrote no in
But
big
that's like
letters.
me with doing sales
Just to
training.
remind
I'm good at
myself.
sales. I know how to sell. I make a lot of sales. But that's because I'm selling my
What
truth.
you believe.
Yeah.
It's because I'm in my flow. It's not because I like the process of selling.
And let me tell you all this. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, damn, I can't do any of those things, develop skills. That's the most underrated conversation in the world. Dude,
development.
seriously, like
seriously.
literally get more fucking
We
shit.
have a question from Rita. Rita
Yeah.
says, what are you drawn to? I believe it begins very young. You have no filters as a child. I always helped less fortunate people, like bringing home stray animals, then stray people, etc. What are you guys drawn to?
What am I drawn to? Purpose, passion, and flow. Everything that I always speak about.
She's been doing this, huh?
But but what you said before, right? Like about who was it who stayed up all night? Mark Cuban, right?
Yeah.
Staying up all night on the thing that you're fascinated with and interested in. I mean, even when I was in fitness, even when I was in high school, when I was 10 or 11 years old and I was a voracious reader, I'm like a speed reader. I can look at I don't have to read it, right? I can look at the page and I just get it. So it's one of those cool things where I can read a whole book in like an hour easily or less. So I ran out of books to read and my mum wouldn't keep taking me to the library every day. So I would start reading my dad's books off his bookshelf when I was 10 or 11. And he had like all the Tony Robbins books, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, Harry Beckwith, all the what I call them like the godfathers of personal development. And also a lot of inappropriate adult fiction. But I read it all, right? And that's where I started reading personal development stuff. And the first time I started reading that, like I remember being 10 or 11 and I was just like, I wanted more of that. And then I remember the first time I came across one of my favorite blogs to this day, which is a personal development blog. And the first time I came across this blog, I literally stayed up every night for like 3 weeks straight until I had read 9 years worth of blog posts on this blog. And that's like, that is flow. That is the thing that's going to keep you up all night. And all I've ever wanted to, like, I don't really reread my old journals. I've been journaling for well over 20 years. In fact, over 30 years actually, since I was a small child. Not always consistently, but
it's funny how you brought that into your business now. Like it's what you
my
do.
Current launch
It's what you've done
my
always.
My current offer that I launched 2 days ago is Journal Your Way to Rich Successful.
I mean, it's
KatLoterzo.com/journal your way to rich.
Yes.
Right? Sell on live stream always. But the point is, I've been consistently journaling for years now, and on a very odd occasion, let's say I go back through my boxes of stuff that's at my mum and dad's house, and I'll pull out an old journal, and it's the same stuff. Like I always say to people, if you feel like you don't know what your vision is, if you have done any journaling, which a lot of people have, but not everybody, but if you have, go back to your old journals because the answer is there. And if you haven't been journaling, go back in your mind because the answer is there. Like I go back through journals from 10, 15, 20 years ago, and I am writing in those journals, I just want to inspire people to know that they can live their life on purpose. I just want people to know that they can have whatever they dream of. This is like when I was broke. This is when I was a teenager I was writing this stuff.
And here's the
now
crazy
that's
thing
what I
is,
do.
and I think a lot of people think you're married to whatever you do.
Yeah.
And the reality is, you can shift directions all the time.
You really can.
Literally, like my whole thing was like passion, agency, building it up. Now as we're kind of doing that side, and I'm seeing other things, I'm like, okay, we're teaching. Holy shit, I like teaching. Da 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 da. Let me do one-on-one.
Yeah.
One-on-one wasn't for me. Let me do group training. Da 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 da.
Alignment is following
exactly.
where the
It's
pull
ongoing and living.
And
It's
listening
always
to
happening.
those pulls, because so many people feel the pull, right? And they go, I don't know how to do
Pink
that.
verb, ladies and gentlemen. We got the pink champagne.
Champagne,
The verb. The verb.
Rita says, my question was more directed at your true calling.
Good stuff.
I was a writer and a reader and selling at a young age. Also, is that how you know your calling, I think?
What did she say?
So that was the question. Initially, she said, what are you guys drawn to? I believe that it begins very young, ready, right. It was more direct. My question was directed at your true calling. I was a writer and reader and selling at a young age. Also, is that how you know your calling? She's basically saying, is your calling determined from your childhood? What do you guys think? It's a great question.
I think it's hard because you're just always changing. You know, like if you stay the same person, then sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And usually the fundamentals are just who we are, our morals, and the
Can I go a
experiences
little
we've had.
spiritual?
Yeah.
Okay.
We give you permission to go spiritual, Kat.
Cheers to
Please,
spiritual.
yes, that's spiritual.
Cheers to spiritual.
beings.
Sorry,
Let's go.
meditating.
All right. Meditating. Okay, so my background is I grew up in the Christian faith. My grandfather was a preacher. My uncles are all preachers. I grew up in a very Christian family, and I was heavily like ingrained in the church ways, and it was just our whole life, right? Like 3 times on a Sunday you would go to church, and then there'd be stuff during the week as well. And there was this song and the song was like, I don't remember the title of the song, but I know that the lyrics were, I have a destiny, I know I shall fulfill. I have a destiny in that city on a hill or something. Yeah. But these words, I have a destiny, I know I shall fulfill. I remember being like 6 or 7 years old and just feeling like, yes, I believe that I have a destiny. And in church, I mean, like a lot of people have bad experiences with church, but I'm going to say I had an amazing experience with church, and it was a very positive influence on my life. And to this day, I really feel that a big part of my message came from church, because if you look at my message is you have a destiny, you have a purpose, you were born for a reason, you can have whatever you dream of and desire as long as you do the work. And actually that's what true Christianity teaches. I'm not talking like religion is a bad thing. I'm talking about true faith. It teaches that you were born for a reason. You're not here by accident. You have a purpose, you have a destiny, you have talents and gifts that you were given, whether you want to say by God or by something else, if you don't want to say that, right? But you have special talents and gifts, and you were born for a reason, and you are absolutely born to live that purpose and destiny. However, just because you have a purpose and a destiny does not mean you will live it. You have a responsibility to take action on that. It's not a done deal. And I really learned and had this stuff ingrained to me in my childhood through church, and I fully believed it. I just felt like I do have a purpose and I was born for a reason. And I've always felt, since as long as I can remember, I felt that my purpose was to inspire others to live their purpose. And so this question of, is it like, are you born with it, or is it something you're conditioned or choose? It's like both, right? Because of course I was conditioned
now you're agreeing with
through
me.
church. No, I still think you're born with it though. I think your conditioning activates what's already inside of you.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Coming at it from a different way. I feel like you are born with an absolute purpose. I actually 100% believe that you're born with a specific purpose, and that your number one job on this planet is to find and to live that purpose. And the different things that happen to you in your life will activate it. But I don't believe that it's like, I don't want to say that it's like, oh, you have to like hope that you can find the right person or influence that's going to activate your purpose, and what if you don't, then you're going to miss out. No, I think that there's a million different opportunities that could help you see something or be triggered or be activated essentially, and it's your responsibility to look out for those. And I want to share one more thing before I shut up, because I could go all day.
And we got all
No, this is important though. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little quick story. When I was about 21, I was dating a guy who my mother did not care for, to put it mildly, right?
I was gonna say, I have a daughter, and she will never do that. She will never do that.
She did not care for him.
She
did not care for him. And I said, I'm in love with him, I'm gonna marry him, etc. Right? And what she said to me was, okay, Katrina, but
Katrina. That's what I call her when she's in trouble. Katrina.
Yeah. I know. Even publicly.
Yeah.
But
I actually heard on live stream. I was like, I forgot your name was Katrina.
I was like, Katrina.
Oh, it's still
Katrina, be quiet.
We're being professional. But here's what she said to me, and this really struck home with me, not just on the topic of relationships, but actually this struck home with me on purpose and on business. She said, okay, well, you can choose to be in a relationship with him and you can even marry him, and here's what you need to understand and just be okay with accepting if you choose to do that. If you're with a person who is not the right person, then what could happen is that the person who you were meant to be with will pass by and you won't see them because you're focused on the thing that you're not supposed to be doing.
Right, and it goes.
And I listened and I married him anyway, and then we got divorced. So.
Oh wow. She said she was gonna bring it up. You see how she slipped that shit in there? We didn't even know we were on that.
But
wait, can I ask you a question? Because
can I
it's on
just say
topic.
one more thing and then ask me a question?
No, you
But-
can't ask.
but
But
I-
I'm gonna slip this one back.
I
It's so right on trend.
I have to say this. If you are giving your energy and emotion to the thing that you know is not fully 100% hell yes in business, then the right thing might pass you by and you will miss it.
But it's not just business, it's life.
That's
Well,
fine.
yes,
Yeah.
business is life.
So someone asked, how do you make time to launch a business when you have to work 2 jobs and care for a toddler? I'm trying to find the time, but as I'm only sleeping 3 hours a day. And I think a lot of people have that question is, where do you find the time to
I get
do
it. I get it. Where should we start with that? Because I get it. Because I was doing 60 hours a week as a personal trainer, and I had a newborn when I built this business.
I think you just have to realize
Which I really want to get into.
everyone has the same 24 hours in the day, and it's what you choose to do with it.
It's not about time, it's about determination. I built my business 5 minutes at a time in between personal training clients and a newborn child.
It's also, I'm sorry to keep harping on, but it comes back to identity as well. You've got to look at, like, well, if I'm to act from the higher version of me that is already living into the vision that I know is coming at my core, does this person, are they in this job? Are they doing this? And I get this security and everything, but what other options do you have? You know, so many people look for what's the same, not what could I create that's different.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, again, start asking some different
And
questions.
here's the biggest thing. Stop comparing yourself to people around you, because the people who are successful, their clock looks completely different. So in other words, like if you're like right now, like I got a toddler, I got work, and da-da-da. When you say that to regular people, they're like, dude, you're a superstar. Like, keep going at it. When you say it to people who got it, they're like, good, you're doing what you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it takes. Like, and you won't feel like that. You won't ask the question because it'll automatically feel like, that's what it is.
What time did we go to bed last night, and what time did we get up?
We've had about 3 hours sleep.
But that's nearly every night.
So you don't flinch. Exactly. Like, here's the truth. Weenies, like lames, they want credit for shit that they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Period. They want credit for like, oh my god, I stayed up so late last night. Oh, I did 1 day a week out of the whole month. Oh no, what did I do?
Can I make a point though? It's not about, oh my god, you've got to work really hard and not sleep at all and fucking hustle. Like, it's not about that. It's about when you're living in alignment, there is no work. I mean, technically, okay, if we're going to be freaking technical, we are all working right now.
Yeah.
We're working.
It's not even technical. Literally, yes.
We are working right now. Yeah.
We have here.
It's in full alignment with all of us and our lifestyles and our brand and our vision and our purpose and our truth and our mission. So it's not even work. Like,
and if we didn't believe that, I don't think any of us would be here.
No.
It wouldn't be worth the time if we didn't see
we'd be like,
the synergy was
but
real.
we're hanging out at Regan's house in Hollywood this week, and like we're really good friends, right?
Yeah.
So we talk. No.
You can start.
They hate each other.
It's well, what do you?
Someone accused us. Wait, someone accused us.
You don't even know each other. You're just
Yeah.
pretending.
Someone was like, this is just a fake internet friendship. You just do this for marketing.
Hey, skeptics are always broke.
Sleep in the same room and
Skeptics are always broke. You don't even talk to them.
And then we had a whole series of Snapchats. We're real friends.
Right.
It's really from the friend. I know her birthday and everything. She bought me these earrings. Look how pretty they are.
And she bought me, this Chanel laptop case.
I bought a matching Chanel laptop.
And I have nothing to show for it. I was gonna say I'll show you guys when the gifts come in. I was gonna say I ain't supposed to
like a Chanel laptop.
I will, I will.
But you know what? Like when we hang out, like as soon as because we don't see each other, because we like both travel pretty much permanently, right? So when do we last see each other? Oh, you turned up unannounced in a tuk-tuk at my house in the Gold Coast for one night.
We'll talk about that story after the next shot. Next shot.
And then the time before that,
and the time before that,
you told me how to ski in Queenstown, New Zealand, like 6 or 7 weeks ago.
You did very well.
Those are our last few catch catch-ups. So we just catch up maybe every month or so in person.
In a different country.
But we speak every day, like at least 100 messages back and forth. But here's the thing, right? So you're talking about somebody who's one of your best friends in the world, and then when you catch up, of course you're like, okay, crack some champagne, have a drink, and then what are we doing? We're on fucking live stream. We're selling. We're hustling. Because we feel like, oh, I need to hustle. No, because that's fun for us. Purpose. That's what we want to do.
And I also want to point out, so myself being on the customer acquisition side, you guys know I'm a fucking logical numbers motherfucker. I want you guys to think about it from this perspective, okay? So we got their live stream going. We got my live stream going. So we've probably had a couple thousand people rotate in the last few hours we've been online. I want you guys to think about the math. Let's say that they charge each client 30 grand. For hypothetical numbers, sometimes it's higher than that. And they can get one customer out of the 1,000 people who have been here. Do you think it was worth their time? So it just changes. And again, if you're like, well, I can't deliver that kind of value, it's not the reason. Exactly. It's a bonus. It's the logic between it. So it's very easy to justify.
You've got to understand. This is a valid point, right? If I do say so myself. You've got to understand that when you are in flow and when you're in alignment and when you act from that space. So many people go, I did something that was in alignment today, but I haven't seen the result. For example, they might show up here and go, oh, I didn't get a client straight after it. Okay, wrong approach. Because I know.
You wouldn't be thinking that.
But all of us showing up right here, right now, will result in this, which will result in that, and this, and that, and this, and that, and that. And you'll track it back and you'll be like, holy shit, that's from when we did that last year with Hillyer. Seriously. All of that shit will manifest for all three of us, and it will elevate all of us to a higher level, and it will create a higher level of impact purely because we showed up in alignment. And that's the difference. And we're not expecting, guys, we're in a world where it's all about instant gratification. You got an app. Oh, I want food now. I want alcohol now. I want this now. It's like everything's now. And people expect that with alignment and flow and purpose in business. And it's like, sometimes it doesn't just show up like that. Sometimes you've got to keep showing up.
Sometimes you have to work for it. Sometimes
you actually have to keep showing up.
This is so crazy.
Right.
That's outrageous.
Alex, we need another shot. Last one.
I think we're good.
This is it. So, what time are we at? What time are we at now?
We're at 1 o'clock.
Oh, shit. Okay. So this is what we'll do. We'll do one.
Hey, guess what?
What? You found the puff ball. Woo! It's lost again, but it was fun for a second. So we will do one last round of Q&A, and then I gotta feed these people that came down here.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit us with the lightning round.
That's right.
Let's hear it. Let's go.
Michelle says, first question, important. Are you finally having tequila shots?
Well, that is an important question.
We are!
We have tequila? What is the tequila?
It's Tito's. Yeah.
That's vodka.
Well, same thing if you say it.
I'm just going to let you know. It's not tequila.
Poison. It's all poison.
I want Billie Jean to have some Campari. We've been doing
Look at this
Yeah, let's do that Campari. Hi, Four. You want to grab him?
Can we get the dog?
Yeah, let's get the dog. Four.
I want the dog.
It would have been a perfect live stream without a dog.
Well, then what I'm going to do is a little bit
There it is. He's on your left.
Okay. So Nicole said she had other plans for today, but she's been glued to our live stream all day.
Oh,
What's
yes,
up,
Nicole!
Shout out.
Nicole.
Thank you for your
Cheers.
energy and attention. Cheers.
You know what's crazy? Is I want to point out to everyone, that's for everybody. Hold on, let's see. I'm going to show them four. Four.
Oh, that's Trombone. Okay.
That's what you wanted.
It's him.
The other one.
Alright, you guys, this is my dog, Four. So if we can do a zoom cam, I think this one's zoom cam.
Put it back in.
So this is Four, this is my puppy.
Yeah.
He's his name is Four because I'm Billie Jean Shaw III, and he is number 4.
Ah.
So he's there.
I thought his name was Thor.
No, it's Four. Actually, I get that a lot though. You'd be surprised.
Over here. We can love each other.
Michelle says, did you seriously confuse vodka for tequila? Well, Michelle, maybe I've been drinking for 3 hours. I don't know. We're not counting. Okay, so this is what I would say to everyone that's been watching with us today.
He wants to know how you created your best version of you.
Is he being channeled through a question? Is something happening here? This is going down.
Just take a moment of silence. Oh, we need that sparkling water, maybe. We'll add some water to the Campari. Do you drink Campari normally?
I don't even know what Campari is.
Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be... What is up with this ice?
I don't know, but I poured some more stuff in.
Alright, 1 second. I'm sorry.
I feel like you're on a Snapchat dog, but...
Alright, I'm just doing it this way because this is too complicated.
Yeah, I'll snap it.
How are you going to do it on ice? Do you need more?
No, it's just tricky to get out. Okay. But you know what? Can you pass up that sparkling water that's down there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Alright, pass me your Campari's guys so I can ice it up.
You're gonna know.
Let me ice that shit up.
No, there's a lot of hickers out there who make that same request. Probably will never find him.
So beautiful.
he's gone.
If he ever wants to come in Hollywood for a week, he has a house.
1 second. And then
So you're in LA most of the time.
We'll put some lime
I
in
jump
there.
between LA
So
and
it's kind of like
Bali.
a Shirley Temple
Holly.
vodka
Yes.
or alcohol.
Talk about
Okay,
that.
so have you had Campari?
Have you
what?
Have you had Campari before? No, it tastes like mandarin peel.
I like the
Okay,
contrast.
okay.
Most people, when they first
fucking
try it,
cool.
are like,
Yeah, I love it.
so that's why I wanted to
And my
test it
team
out.
is everywhere. So we've got 33 people in the team across
What?
11 countries.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Shit.
Wow.
So I'm gonna dive into that in like 1
Alright.
second after we take
Let me
these
grab the
fruitful
Oh
shots.
my god, he's so content.
Okay,
Living
I'm
both
just like
layers.
reaching across.
Really fast too, while we prepare
Okay.
the shots, I want to point out to everybody is no
Alright.
one is able
Cheers, Facebook.
to do what they're able to do
Can I just see your
without
face with the
skills.
Campari?
Literally, everyone up here can do something that the other one can't, right? We specialize in our own shits. God, do you think you're the dog whisperer?
Yes,
now?
I'm a dog whisperer.
Okay, I want to see Billie Jean's face when he drinks the Campari. Go.
Okay.
I am.
You're lucky.
Michael
because
says,
I
Billie
wanted
Jean,
it
are you
down.
in San Diego? Yeah, our office is right here, man. We're like,
Right here.
we're the shit.
San
People know our office.
Diego.
Don't stop by, but we'd love to see it.
Badass office. Like,
Here we go.
coolest fucking office setup. Let me know the taste. Cheers.
Are you getting scared? I see what you're doing. You see the strategy right there?
I see.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know where the
Let's see.
truth
Oh,
is.
look, now he's stressed
So,
out.
where?
I'm like, jeez.
Welcome aboard.
He gets stressed out when
I
I
just
don't
want to see
it.
what he thinks of the Campari.
It's kind of quiet taste. It's an acquired taste.
Wait, what is happening?
It's totally an acquired taste.
See, we drink this every day.
Oh, wait,
Every
what
day.
the fuck just happened?
We start with Campari every day. With
Wait, what
Campari
is
and
it?
wine.
What is it?
Imported.
No, what is it?
It's an Italian.
It's a
liqueur,
digestive.
It's
basically.
different.
It's a bit of digestive.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to.
It's some healthy shit.
It's good for you. It will keep you hot and lean and sexy.
It's like a
It's like a
tomato.
vegetable.
It's like a tomato juice mixed with
No,
alcohol.
it's like mandarin peel. Or orange peel.
Mandarin tomato peel is what I think is the best way to call.
For
It's
life.
not like horrible, but it's like you
We
almost
literally
would think you would
so
chug
we
it.
start every day with Campari. And then we...
Alcohol.
I meant in the evening. I don't mean for breakfast. And
Oh,
usually. And then wine, and then espresso martinis. That's our system.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's a success system.
It's a formula.
But that's
Okay.
how we actually knew in a higher level that we were supposed to be friends because no
You
one
both
else
drank
drinks
it?
Campari. Nobody fucking drinks Campari or
I-
even knows what it is, and we already both drank it.
I guess I'm part of the inner circle.
You're in the
I've-
inner circle.
I've injected
She's
myself.
that.
Appreciate
She's
it.
that.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Very.
You're gonna have to come out to LA and
You know I
get
hate
in
that
on
city.
that. Oh, we can just come straight to the house.
Just come to my place.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
We avoid all the helicopter
We'll
and
take you.
helicopter and
We'll
parachuting.
Uber black you straight in.
You literally could have all the chocolates go very fast.
So that you
Yeah.
don't have to be exposed to anything that doesn't feel amazing.
Okay. Okay. So I got 2 hard questions for both. of you.
Okay, let's do it. Let's hit it.
Well, let me stop lying. I have multiple questions for you. I want to start here. We'll start. We'll use our way into this, but locations, right? So I think there are certain quote unquote dreams that everybody shares. One is to like be financially free and be able to work wherever you want and when you. It's nothing new, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So doing that, bringing that quote dream to a reality. You said you live in Bali. You said you live in LA. You said you have a house in New Zealand. How? Very like specifically how. I
Decided to.
well, so we know that, right? Like, and obviously, like, so. But I asked for the audience is like, how are you making that happen? And like, can you explain a little bit about how your business is set up, how you created your business to make that make sense?
Yeah, look, and it's very intentional because it would have been easy to not have it pan out like that, basically. So yeah, it came from locking in my vision and what I really wanted at my core. And I specifically remember journaling and writing that I literally wanted a place in LA. I wanted a place like literally like infinity pool looking out over Hollywood. Done, right?
And that's what you got.
Yeah, I wanted a place in Bali.
Oh, she out there doing it.
100%.
Right, I wanted a place in
I fired
Bali,
myself up.
looking out over the ocean, and was like, that's important to me. I love Bali. I love that vibe. That's like my kind of
It's always a vision in your head.
yeah. It's totally
So, and I always tell this to people: start backwards, right? Like they're starting at the finish line and then
when
going
I was
back up
writing
to
that
go.
stuff down, I was like,
No, you write it
so
into
far
reality.
removed from
Yeah,
creating
it's real.
that. But I decided that, and I had no idea how that was going to happen. I had no idea like how I was going to create the income for that. Like I didn't know, but I knew it was done because I decided basically. And yeah, and then a place in Queenstown, New Zealand, which to be fair is like a little bit like, yeah, I love being there, but for me it's more about that's something I can do with my family. Like my family's in Auckland and then they can go there and use that. Like for me that's my give back around my family, a part of it.
How happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Like 11.
Ridiculously.
Yeah.
What could you do to be a 12?
Could I do to be a 12? Just honestly continue what I'm doing.
The same evolutionary path.
Yeah, continue living into my truth.
Yeah.
Like it's honestly
See, we're so quick to respond, and I think you're the same, right?
Yeah.
And those who play at this level, there's no other way around it. Like as soon as we notice the smallest incongruency, even something like the silliest things, right? Like we were talking about this yesterday, the standard of quality of the suitcase that you travel with.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's so silly and it's materialistic or whatever, and it's not relevant. But as soon as you notice something where it's like, well, that's not actually at the level that feels congruent.
So you change it.
Okay, you change it immediately. You call the fucking concierge or you call your person who delivers shit to the house and you get it fixed.
So how about this? Come on this, both of you. I think a lot of people villainize money. Right? It's a bad guy. Oh, how dare you make money? You're a bad person. All you care about is money.
How dare you not fucking make money and impact other people?
God, it's insane. But nonetheless, for those people out there who are in that relationship where, and honestly, I think it's a rationalization of I didn't get what I want, so therefore it's got to be evil, and I think it usually falls on that. But what would you guys tell people who are in that conversation with money of like it's just makes all people evil?
I'm gonna get like a little up.
Go ahead.
In
Go
this
ahead.
thing,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna let you know it is fucking irresponsible to not make a lot of money. Because how the hell do you expect to help anybody if you don't have wealth behind you?
Yeah.
I just think it's selfish and irresponsible.
It is. And you've got to understand that at the end of the day, money's not even real. I mean, it's an energy. It's a freaking digit electronically, like whatever, you know, if they need more, they'll print more. Like it doesn't even exist. The whole system's screwed if you look at it. So
there's no limit.
But you've got to understand it's an amplifier. Like if you're an evil, horrible, nasty, selfish person and you come into a lot of money, that is going to be amplified out into the world. But if you're someone that operates from your truth, that has a massive heart, that wants to create impact and change, that is also going to be amplified. So it's just an amplifier, you know. And so yeah, like I do cool stuff around my lifestyle and I'm fulfilled and all of that, but for me it always comes back to purpose. For me, knowing that okay, I've got this place here and here and here and I can jump around and build my team in that way and do that inspires others to go and create their best version of their life. Like that is cool. At the same time, like we've just educated 2,000 kids in India and raised money to do schools over there, you know, and doing cool stuff like that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like we're live streaming, we're talking about it live, and we've been on for hours, but we couldn't even begin to scratch the surface of what A or B is accomplished. Like you just don't know that, right? But quickly, what's in your entrepreneur journey, what's the biggest thing that you're just most proud of? That like you're like, you know what? Get off me, motherfucker! I did this. Start it off. Get it warm. Go ahead.
Honestly, the moment that I have felt most proud of was about 6 weeks ago when I offered my brother a full-time job to come and work for me to allow him to leave the job that he was in a very high position actually, in a very good job, but not happy and essentially selling his soul. And
I said it to you last night. I was like, that is so cool.
To me, that's everything. To me, like, one of the biggest, like, I'm driven by my purpose and my message, make no mistake.
Sure.
But for me, I've always felt like I just want to be able to allow my family to live the life that they want to live as well. And we were on the phone and he was talking about stuff to do with his work, and I just said, just come and work for me. And honestly, like, to me to be able to offer that, and it wasn't a charity thing. I knew that he is incredibly smart and he's like the exact opposite type of person as me. He's super analytical and numbers based, so it's a perfect compliment because I'm like, just make shit up and throw it out there.
Make it happen, damn it, just tell me what it is.
Throw it on the internet and hope that it all works out. So it wasn't like, oh, I'll just give you money, right? It was totally like I knew I'll get that value. But that to me was the most. I went to my training the next day, so I do like Muay Thai fight training several times a week, and I went to my Muay Thai trainer and I was like, to me, like, that is my proudest moment in business. And I've made millions of dollars, and I know that my message has helped thousands of people, and I've done a lot of cool shit. And that to me was just like my family.
It was the tangible. It was the
like,
real. It was
do
like,
you know
this
what?
is
Like,
it.
my purpose and my work comes first, before family, before everything else. Purpose and work is first to me. fucking close to my family. That my family is super high on my values list, obviously, and that was just my proudest moment. And he's fucking brilliant. He's making me just paid amounts of money. He's a machine.
Go brother. It's so crazy what you can do with a skill set.
He's so good. He's so good. I'm super grateful for him. Yeah.
I am too. I like him now too.
But that's not why I knew that he'd be awesome and everything.
Yeah, but it's a bonus.
But you know what? Like, because I acted on faith and I just thought, I need to do this. We were talking about this last night. I'm blown away at what he's already implemented into my business. He's just thinking at a whole different level, in a different way to what I could ever think.
I love that.
So cool.
Very cool.
Go brother.
Yeah, look, there's a few things for me, and honestly, it comes back to actually owning the fact that everything I do is in alignment, and it's just such a good feeling. It really is. You know, before even actually being online and having this personal brand, I created multi-millions of dollars, but if I'm being true, it was like 1% out of alignment, and it was that 1% that just didn't make me feel totally awesome, and it just feels good now, knowing that I'm in my truth, because it's not actually about me. If I can do that, then I know others can do that too. And then I can, I had a client recently say to me, and long story short, I made some big decisions in my life recently, and I was a little bit like, what are my private clients going to think of my community? Right. And I was worried about that. And then they came to me and they were like, I'm so impressed that you made those big, scary decisions because they're your truth. And because it was in alignment, they were like, that makes me respect you so much more. And I was like, okay, right. So that, that's the big thing for me. And in terms of proudest moments, the underlying tier to that is, it's honestly the little things. I could roll out success stories of, people that have created this and are doing certain things. And it's the small things where someone sends me a Facebook voicemail in tears, being like, I just made $697, and this is going to change my whole month because I can quit working where I am now. It's that stuff. It's it's that, and it makes me tear up and go, oh my god, I'm so humbled to have played just a small part. Just a small part in actually believing and helping them believe that they can do it.
You know what's crazy is, and I think you guys are gonna find this with anyone who's kind of where they want to be, is whenever you ask them what they're most proud of or happiness for, it has everything to do with other people and never about themselves. You guys notice, you never hear anyone's like, oh, I'm so happy I got to take care of myself and by myself. It's never, ever that. Yeah. And I just want to point that out, for myself, we had our event, Clicks and Customers Live last week, and it was fucking fun. Yeah, the choir. And you guys know how it is, when you're online and you don't get to meet a lot of the people that you're impacting, etc. Yeah. But to be able to sit there and shake hands and it's like, oh shit, you're a real person. This is this is a real life. This is a real situation. I think that was the moment of validation for me of those nights when you're tired or you don't want to go on or you don't want to put out content, you just never realize how busy. And the best
because it's not about you.
It's not about you. No, and you totally forget the one time you went live, the one time you wrote something that somebody was listening, and they did something with it that completely changed the way that the world exists.
So do you know how all that can happen? Let's take it right back to where we started this whole conversation at the beginning of the live stream. You need to fucking show up all day, every day, and produce content and share your message.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how? And so when you say to yourself, "That's silly. Who would want to read that?" Or "I'm being repetitive," or "Who am I to say this?" Do you know what you're doing? You're holding back something that could help somebody and change their life.
Selfish. And exactly like
you need to just be bigger than your own insecurities.
If you have something within you have an obligation to share, that's not a choice, I believe.
Here's a question Michael Bass asked. He says,
responsibility.
Michael Bass wants to know, when was the biggest doubt moment?
Can I just, the biggest doubt moment?
Kat's got a phone call. Would you like to start?
I'll be completely transparent. I have them daily. It's not like oh my god, this one big decision I made. Honestly, I doubt myself daily. I write something and I read it and I'm like, that's just, you know what, that's just repetitive, oh my god, I've written that before. But you know what, the thing to know is that although the doubt and the talk and all of that constantly shows up, I truly believe that the bigger the game you play, the bigger the doubt you deal with.
You don't have time for doubt.
But But I do. It shows up. It's there. It's real.
But what I mean is, you're not going to take time to wallow in it and engage in it because
that was
you've got
what
a
I was
higher
about
purpose.
to say was that I act in spite of it.
Exactly.
And I continue to move forward. But I don't think it's one moment of, oh my God.
So in other words, nerves never go away, fears never go away. It's just you learn how to deal with them and handle them.
You know what? A lot of people look at higher
level
people
so
and assume that they have no fear or resistance.
When I went on stage, they're like, dude, you're just so lucky to be able to just go on stage and like, no fear. I'm like, dude, I can sleep the night before. I was so fucking nervous, to go on. And am I going to fuck up? I'm like, no, that's 100% wrong. I just fucking deal with it.
It doesn't matter how far along you go. You still have the resistance. Guess what? You're still human, right? But it's just that you get to a place where your purpose and your mission matters more. So one thing that a lot of people say about me online when they're complimenting me is they'll say, she's like hardcore and she doesn't give a fuck. And I'm like, I accept the compliment. However, that's incorrect because it's not that I don't give a fuck. I give so much of a fuck about my purpose and my message that I'm willing to deal with whatever other shit I have to deal with in order to get that out there, whether it's other people trying to burn me at the stake or whether it's my own fears and doubts and insecurities. Because I feel fear, I feel doubt, I feel insecurity. I sometimes write something. Even my blog post today, which I wrote this morning, I was a bit like, I wasn't quite in the vibe this morning, and I felt like I was, when you feel like you're typing and you feel like it's a bit jerky and it's not, you're not in flow. But I pushed through, I wrote the blog, which I published this morning, and I totally could have not published that because I felt like, I'm not really in the zone and it feels like I'm kind of like a bit awkward with what I'm writing. And I published that a couple hours ago and I've got like 36 likes and comments, and I know we'll have had sales from that because I had a call to action. And that's because I'm committed to showing up regardless of how I feel about it. And one of my sayings that I like to say is, don't let your emotions dictate your destiny.
Someone asked, they said, I like how you conclude that. And then to look away with the sip. The one quick sip before I go.
Hashtag Kat Loterzo. Hashtag journal your way to rich. KatLoterzo.com. Journal your way to rich.
You know what's crazy? If you look back at our videos, that's what I do all the time. Clicks in the customer's life.com. It's the same shit.
Do you know what? I was hired to come on as a speaker for Australia's largest entrepreneur training organisation, and they loved me and everything. And then they said, the only thing is, we just need you to not sell your own stuff all the time when you're talking. And they said to me, we know that speakers who've been around as long as you kind of just do it automatically. You're not deliberately trying to sell all the time. But the problem is that you just keep selling your own shit when you're talking, and it's just kind of unconscious, but we don't want our students to think that you're just trying to sell them stuff. So we just need you to tone that down, and then it will be cool. And I was like, well, you had specifically asked me to come in and speak on the topic of authentic selling. I'm sorry, but I'm
I'm sorry, but
I really appreciate this invitation. It was a big deal invitation. I just can't do it if you're going to ask me to have to think, because you're asking me to think in advance about what I say,
which is
rather than authentic flow. So as soon as I have to think about what I'm going to say, it's not authentic, and therefore that's not right of me to try and teach your students that way.
Right,
and they came back to me and they were like, no, we want you to be real, but we just want you to tone down selling so much. And I'm like, no, that's not real, because it comes out of me automatically. I can't help
So
it.
Francisco asked, Billy, did you ever think this was not going to work out?
Ooh. Interesting.
No, man, I always try and go back to where or when the motivation came, but I don't know, man. I was listening to Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins just preaches over and over again about how results create certainty. And I've always been pretty good about, creating action. And when I get action, I get results. And so I get more confident. And therefore, I'm never really thinking about that because I'm feeding off of my last win, so to speak. So I think the one thing that would make me have doubts is if I stopped winning, right? So, obviously, a big part of our business is teaching and educating. If we ever stopped winning for clients and then I was selling, I would feel out of alignment.
Right.
Because I would be selling shit. Right? But right now, I mean, it's like the opposite of what I feel, because I genuinely believe, I do not think there's a place that exists on the planet that's better to teach people how to acquire customers using paid advertisements than what we offer.
There you go, and that's tremendous behind that. Yeah, and look, doubt's an interesting thing, because I always get a lot of questions being like, Regan, how do I, not eliminate self-doubt, because it might not ever go away, but how do I at least, deal with it or minimize it? And what's interesting is that, I've kind of harped on about today around locking in the vision and acting as that version of you, as if it was done. If you are actually acting as that version of you, does that version of you doubt that it's done if it knows it's done? No. That version of you is like, well, it's done. That version of you doesn't have doubt. So, if you're in your day-to-day going, I'm just not sure what this is going to happen, you're not actually stepping into the higher identity of knowing that it's done. So you need to catch yourself. You need to go, okay, cool, I need to shift my identity. How do I choose to show up right now? Because that's a choice. And that will actually release the doubt. So that, I mean, that's how I deal with it when I go, and I hit this doubt. I'm like, okay, what would the billionaire version of Regan do right now? Okay, just do it, right? And then I just do it, and sure enough, the doubt goes. So I think it's just, it comes down to that identity choice.
I think it would be the same thing when you say greats like within sports, like Peyton Manning or Brett Favre, when they throw interceptions. Like Brett Favre has literally thrown more interceptions than anybody in NFL history.
Right.
He just doesn't focus on it. Like, you know, so someone asked right now, says, Billy, I followed the clicks and customers to the T, and it failed 3 campaigns. How many did you have before you found a winner? The very first thing I would go back to, which I talked about earlier, is like your doctors and attorneys. Yeah. They literally study for 12 years before they make a dime. I don't think anyone comprehends that. Right. It's not easy, too. It's like studying, no sleep, don't pass the test. You know, attorneys didn't pass the bar, had to take it 3 times, da-da-da-da-da. So here's the very short answer. Until you get it fucking right.
Right.
Until you get it right. And if you don't get it right, you try again. If you don't get it right, you try again. And then when you get it right, you do it again and you improve it. Like, it just never stops. So, you know, the fact that you tried 3 times, I would tell you, good. You understand the mentality of taking shots. Now you just have to do it a million more times.
And on the million mark, right, it took me literally 5 years to make my first $1 million from the moment that I decided that I was going to make $1 million minimum. Right? It took me 5
That's important.
years.
She decided it.
I remember writing it and being like, I will be a multi-millionaire. And I was like, I don't know it's going to happen, but here's what it's going to be like when it's done. And it took me 5 years of freaking continuously pushing forward and figuring it out.
When I'm setting company goals, so I'm like, years ago when we're like, hey, we're just trying to do 50 grand a month. We didn't hit 50 grand a month until I said, fuck it, let's just do 100 grand a month.
Right.
Exactly. Is that not the realest shit ever? You know, and then last month it was like, fuck, let's shoot for 600, and I think we did like 440. We fucking failed.
Right.
So now I'm like, why do I keep going here? Because I never make it. I got to shoot over.
Do that. Like right now, my income goal for this month online is $1 million. Now, I know deep down I'm not going to do that, but I will probably hit really close to 500K. You know, and it's like, I know that, but if I was going for 500K, I'd probably do 250.
For sure.
So it's like, I'm going to show you guys something right here. Like, I just pulled this up because this sheet is always open. This is my money tracking sheet. So I've just gone back to June of this year. So June 2016. See here, my goal was 600K. And in June you can see that I made 260. Okay, let's even go further back, right? Yeah. Let's go right back because I'm like religious about tracking my money. So let's go January. My goal was like 91,000 for some random reason, and I made 92,000. If we go to February, so smash the goal. If I went to $134,853 for my goal, I made 83,000 in February, right? So if we go up to May, my goal, I jumped my goal up to 400, and all of a sudden I made 257. Whereas
crazy, right?
Whereas in January I made like 80 or 90. Then if we go to August, my goal was 428, and I made 256. If we go to last month, September, my goal was 500K, and I made, like 384 and 300.
And you know what I love about this? It's the same thing. Like right now, if everyone were to stand in your home, and I said, get down and do push-ups, and I said, give me fucking 20 push-ups. You would do fucking 20 push-ups barely. But then next time if I said, do 25, you fucking do 25. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, every single time.
I was thinking about this even on the treadmill this morning when I was doing my sprints. Because I usually do like a 30-second sprint on and then 30-second off. And then I decided I'm going to do a 45-second sprint, not 30. And as soon as I made that decision, I thought to myself, well, because I now know that my end goal is 45 seconds, not 30 seconds, even though I'm going up, like, I have this like thing on an incline and I'm going fast and everything, but I'm focusing to the end game, so I'm not like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you know that you have to do 30 seconds, you're counting down 30 seconds. Yeah. If I know I have to do 45, I'm counting down 45. Well, if all of a sudden I say to myself, do you know what? I'm going to keep the incline the same and the speed the same, and I have to do 2 minutes. That's totally like, it's totally like.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
actually.
Oh, the battery.
Right here.
Yeah, we're dying. It's totally like, well, fuck, I don't know if I can make that, but I'm definitely going to get a lot further than if I didn't do it, than if I didn't set the goal.
Is that breaking shit? Is what you're telling me?
Don't touch anything.
Yeah. Great. Yep. It has been quite a bit of drink. Can you help me, B? I think I'm.
Line up the.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, that is kind of complicated.
It was a little different.
Yeah.
Mic check, Paul. Can you yell to me if you can hear me? All right, guys. Huh?
We're having an illegal.
Yeah, we're good. So we're closing out, guys, in about 5 to 10 minutes. So let's feed these girls before they,
Questions.
die. Before you die. Let's go. So any quick questions? We'll kind of do a power round here. Let's see. Thank you for that. Sometimes I can create some of my best work, but then I find myself thinking of going to go back to corporate because it's so much easier, but I love being my own boss. But it's always living. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Like, I think CIC is clicks into customers, Michael. That's our course. I have found that people seem to like what's working and what's easiest. So, for example, a big complaint that you see a lot of business owners make is, oh my gosh, I can't stand employees. They just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, so forth, and da-da-da, so forth. However, when you encounter a boss that truly enjoys working with their team and they see them as an actual help and an aid, the conversation never goes like that. So the very first thing that I approach to that is, oh wow, you suck at managing your team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, because that's how I feel like when me and my team are at ends, I'm like, oh my gosh. I get mad at them for a second, and immediately in my own head I go, I'm doing something wrong to fuck this up. And you know what's beautiful about that is when I own every fucking mistake in the way I feel, I can always change it. The second it's somebody else's fault, I can do nothing. I do nothing. There's literally nothing I can do about it because it's their fault. I just have to cross my fingers and hope they get better.
Right.
No, thank you. I don't want to live like that. Just fucking with the restraints on.
No way.
Mm-mm.
Alright, what other questions do we have?
People commenting. Yeah, that's what's up. Let's do 200K a month. Thank you, Billy. Blah blah blah. So there's other stuff on it. Do you guys have? When mentors do you use to learn FB marketing? Not mentors like Tony Robbins, but ones that are directly related to Facebook. Oh, great question, Robert. So for us, because obviously Facebook advertising agency, what we focus on are practitioners, right? We want to know people are doing it. So number one is ourselves. And I don't mean like we're so great. I mean, we just spend so much money. We see what works and doesn't. So we let results dictate to us what's working and what's not. In addition to that, we have a giant community, right? We got like almost 300 entrepreneurs who pay us a lot of money every month, and they're testing a lot of money every month. So between collectively us and them, we don't really see many people in the local space who have access to the data that we do. So that's another thing. Then on top of that, our Facebook reps, when you spend X amount of dollars, you can get a little bit of phone time and conversations. So that's another result. Then in addition to that, I follow other people who are getting results. So you can take your typical John Loomers. Why? The guy's been around forever. He's doing his thing. So take other people in the space who are winning, right? That's that happy jealous. Like, that motherfucker is doing this. That's that, like, man, good shit. But I'm still going to learn from you because I'm not an idiot. Like, I can learn from everybody. But at the same time, I'm coming for you. So, it's that fun. But literally anyone who's a practitioner. So you want to see something that I do, like an exercise to get better at Facebook ads? Every time I see an ad that catches my attention, I click it. I'll screen capture every fucking step of it. And I'll study it. And I'll realize, hey, damn, why did I like that? And I take the time. Me, right now, I'm the guy who fucking teaches every week. I probably teach more people on this subject with local business than anybody. So what am I doing most of my week? Sitting in other people's webinars.
Yeah,
learning.
Like, I'm never too cool. I never know too much. And this is the crazy thing is, and you guys will agree, is when you teach, you learn the most. Right? Like, it's no contest. So that's 100%.
If you can't teach it, you don't get it.
Well, also, anytime you feel stuck or unsure, you just jump on and help somebody else out.
Yeah. Sorry. Victoria says, how do you go about the hiring process?
Hiring people. What is your process?
I have a great process.
Do you want to go? I can go. So I like to personally start with culture. One thing that I think people come in this on, and something that makes it enjoyable to come to work, is happiness. I truly believe this. It sounds corny, but like if you're not happy, nothing else matters. Like literally everything, and all of a sudden it's just irrelevant. So our team is we disgustingly get along with each other, laugh at each other, same personalities. We're all very different, but we get along. Therefore, it's very hard for me to imagine someone with such great productivity over everybody else that it's okay for me to say, all right, you don't contribute to the happiness level of the overall team.
Right.
So when people are happy, that's the number one thing I look for. And right behind that / equivalent to that is trust. I ask people, like people sit down and interview with me, I'm like, so what's your family like? What did you do? What were your grades in high school? Because me, I was a knucklehead. So I know what knuckleheads hang out. I know what we do. I know our habits. So I love when Sunshine downstairs tells you that I was the salutatorian and went to UCLA on a full ride. Damn, you were way smarter than me. You were way more well-behaved than me. That's your foundation. That's your fundamentals. So my favorite question, and it sounds crazy, is what was your GPA in high school? Because you can almost always align it. Like Kat, you can see, like very well read, extremely intelligent person, straight A student. Like she has all of those things. She has a lot of skills that I don't, right? And on the flip side, I probably have some skills that she doesn't have. Like that's the balance, right? So I love that question, to just understand someone's past before I hire them. Because with us, we have a unique company where we're looking for a skill set that virtually almost no one on the planet has. It just doesn't exist. Like it hasn't been around that long.
Yeah,
right.
Therefore, I know that I'm going to have to invest into farm into people. So I look for people that I really enjoy hanging out with and that I can trust, that are going to be around for a long time, so I can invest my knowledge. Because if they fucking dip after I fucking invested all this time and money, that's a pain in the butt. And it happens sometimes. You know, you can't avoid it, but it fucking sucks and it's annoying. So that's my
For sure. For sure, yeah, no, very, very similar stuff from my end. And I think the biggest thing for me, strategically around building our team, like I said earlier, we've got 33 people and we're in 11 different countries and I don't know how many time zones, like it's just nuts, but it works at the same time. So for me, it all comes back to the vision, and are they actually aligned with the vision, and do they get it, and does that work with their personal vision?
Yeah.
So we always want to hear, like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, what is your endpoint?
Yes.
What is your big goal? Because if they're telling me that something else, then I'm going to be like, well, that doesn't really align with you fitting into this team. Like, you should just go be a star. Like,
and you can totally respect it. It's like, it's not a bad blood. It's like, oh, great, you want to do that? Fantastic. You just hate it here. You know, so it's about finding people who are happy here too.
Yeah, it's fine to not agree. It's fine to not think it's cool and fun and awesome. Just move along.
And I think it's important, being the entrepreneur, to understand that, you know what, you like people like yourself, but you don't necessarily want to hire people like yourself. Like that is the difference. And I fell into this trap like 4 or 5 years ago where I'd be like, oh my god, they're so cool, they get it, they're an entrepreneur, I should definitely hire them, we'll give them this opportunity. And all of a sudden I was like, why are they copying my stuff and like creating these businesses? And like, you know, it's like, versus now, like my online business manager that runs my whole team and manages all the people, she has no interest in sitting here right now. She has no interest in being in the spotlight. She has no interest in doing live streams.
It's a win-win.
But she's like, I love your vision. I love that we're impacting people. I want to contribute. I am in love with this. You know, she is in her happy place. It is fulfilling her personal vision. So if you don't know your team's personal vision, then you don't know if it's going to fit with yours.
And notice, both things we've said have been a result of having conversations. You can't read that on a resume. A resume is not telling you. A resume is just to find people who can follow directions.
They're people. They're humans. Like, I know this sounds silly, but in this day and age where it's so easy to go online and just hire a VA. No, hang on. That is a human too. That is a person with a heartbeat and a soul. So let's actually see whether this person aligns, rather than just going, just do the job. Because chances are, if you do that, they'll be gone 3 months later, and you'll be like, what happened?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like we brought it.
I think we brought it too.
I think we had maybe unprecedented amounts of fun.
It was. Well, I mean, what time is it right now?
It's nearly 2 o'clock.
How many hours is that? Because we started at 10:30.
4ish,
Nearly 4.
Yeah, that's a lot of live streams. So for those of you who are here listening the whole time, and you play the drinking game, cheers.
Cheers.
But I would, if anyone could just go around, give like a 7-second final line to everybody.
Here's my line. Whatever you feel inside of you is real. You do have a purpose, you do have a calling, and whatever it is that you're dreaming of is absolutely possible. But if you want it, you need to do the fucking work.
There you go. And I would say, don't make excuses. Stop hanging out with lame people who talk about all the reasons why they can't, and only hang out with the people who only give you reasons why they can.
Absolutely.
I mean, that simple, like, tactical strategy will change your entire life. Fuck that. Oh, I don't know how you can do that. Oh, it's not gonna work. Da, 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 da. Hey.
Yeah.
You switch that, all of a sudden everything in your life goes right.
For sure. I would say ultimately you can have it all. You can have it all, and
Yeah,
you can have it on your terms right now. And don't worry about what other people are telling you should do or have to do, or what you think you should or have to do over your life. Like, you can have it all through every area of your life. You do not have to compensate, and you're the creator, so go create it.
99% of the people, right, aren't the 1%. The 1% supposedly the people who are like happy and doing what they want. Which means if you were to take 100 random people, only one person would be right and the rest would be wrong. So stop looking for comfort in the numbers.
Right.
You keep looking for comfort, like, because people agree with you, so it makes you feel better. Like, oh, he agrees, he agrees, da 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 da. That's okay, because you're agreeing with a bunch of wrong people.
Exactly.
That's
Right.
And at that, you just had drunkenness with 3 drunk bosses, which will go to lunch and get a little bit more drunker. And
It's been amazing. Thank you so much for having
Hey,
us.
no, dude, thank you for coming.
Cheers, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
shit.
you have 3.
Come
right
on,
there.
schedule your shit
Hold on,
together.
hold on,
Oh
wait
my
for it,
God.
wait
Your
for it.
drinks. Get ready.
Okay,
Out of
that
control.
is-
What is going on? Oh,
Cheers, you guys. Awesome.
Cheers.
Rock and roll.
Bring it
You
on.
guys, make shit happen. Don't just listen to this. Do something right now that's going to make it better.
Life is now. Press fucking play.
And of course, you absolutely can have it all.
Also, Paul, enter with trythegeneful.com. Buy shit from us. Definitely buy shit from us.
Go
Dude.
buy the shit.
Like, if you buy
Always
something,
buy
buy shit. Yeah,
Buy all the shit.
you're a bad person if you don't buy.
We're done.
Close it up, Polly Molly.
We're into
That's
the
a
last
wrap.
room.
We out of here.
Bye.
Mm.
Bye, guys.
Later.